to say the least. I was just checking out a couple of different currencies. Canadian dollar, to start with, first off here, all the way back to November lows. So we bounced off that ever so slightly yesterday. We are rolling over a little bit here, but currencies coming into play here once again this afternoon. If you have a look at dollar strength coming back into play, this is the daily chart after the retracement yesterday. We start lower this morning. We've since regained that low and then some. Yields doing the same thing, back to the upside in a pretty big way here this afternoon. So the market back to negative territory overall, but some of the banks I noticed benefiting possibly from these rates continuing to climb, including Wells Fargo, back to 58.75 here. 59 was the high early on this morning, up 2.7%. There they are. There's WFC standing out in as one of the strongest so far this morning. Blackstone down 3%. BX, JPM, BAC, and others still in positive territory. Meta to the upside, 2%. Nvidia still positive. Google as well. The rest of tech, essentially, the entire thing, including Micron to the downside to the tune of 3%. So it hasn't been a great day as far as big tech is concerned, as far as semiconductors are concerned. I just read 14-month low for Tesla today, down to 148 and change at the bottom there. Trying to get back higher currently, but yeah, pretty ugly. Bitcoin, a bit of a bounce today as well, coming off a little bit of positive earnings this morning. The biggest to come up next week, as we were saying this morning. If you're with us in the pre-market, what is that low? For Tesla, 152.37. So yeah, we're well below that at this point for Tesla, and then some to the downside. Let's touch on a few things we were discussing. If you're with us in the pre-market this morning, we were talking semiconductors, but from the TSMC angle after they came out with results that were not impressive, to say the least. Some of the bigger names to the downside today initially, guys, but trying to bounce here as far as Nvidia and AMD are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, trying to bounce, but how successful they will be,
nobody knows,
remains to be seen. I mean, TSM.
I want them to bounce. Let's go.
Get me more short, it gives you opportunity to short
Get
the
me
pops,
more short.
because we're sitting in them right now. But TSM, look, in the morning when we started the show, TSM was like the only chip stock that was actually red. Everything else was up or slightly up or something, and it was the earnings of TSMC, Taiwan Semi. It did show some slowdown, some CapEx spending was slowed down as well, but most of the chip names had been beaten up by ASML yesterday, so you had like these small gaps up. And just to go over TSM, you know, it stayed under the 50 period here on the daily. Again, it was never really that strong of a stock. Under the chart for a second, Remain. Chart. There we go. It stayed under the 50, so for TSM, the rejection, it tried to bounce at the open, couldn't even get past some pre-market lows and then roll over. So it's sort of emblematic of the market, tanked at the open, came back up, and it just did the same thing. I traded a host of, most of them today. Like there's a trade in, for me, there's a little bit of everything. Load one more time there. I'm in ARM and Intel, so I'll kind of go with those later. Like for Nvidia, I didn't have the short at the open. I essentially shorted the one move up on the 15-minute, the one move at 850 that was red, and then from there it kind of just went to the upside. So I had one scalp trade when it was strong and then got away from it. I was pretty much the entire morning short ARM off of yesterday's highs. Short, staying short, staying short, staying short, shorting a lower high now and sort of scalping it. I have a bid at the low of the day. ARM was a huge dog yesterday. So some of this, I'm going to make the assumption, you know, when you have a move like this, it's difficult for a stock to go double barrel that low. But I still feel like ARM, even after that big move in, there's a huge gap on the daily chart for ARM as they have their earnings coming through a little bit later on. You still have like 3 weeks till Nvidia. You got plenty of time to ARM. And then Intel's the other one we're sitting in. Intel shorted VWAP and lost, shorted the opening range top and lost, shorted it again and lost, went 1 for 4 on Intel to try to get it back. And the mistake made was not being more aggressive realistically in the ones that were trending to the downside, right? So you could have been more aggressive in Micron, which I just got into, and Intel could have been a little bit more patient with that. The ones that you weren't having to fight, you need to be patient with, and the ones that you were fighting, you had to be patient with, and the ones that you didn't have to, you need to be more aggressive with. And it's fine. At the end of the day, it will be up today, but it did take a little bit more effort than I think was necessary with these chips, because Micron was never really that strong. It's actually popping back into 113. Just pick that up.
I mean, it's been a day. We're just covering Tesla right now. It's $1.30 in the money. We have AMD right now. Shout out to everybody over there, my chip heads, where AMD is by far, and it's not even close. Shout out to Brendan with Pringles. You'll hear all about that on the podcast. Shout out to Adara. Look, this is the thing. When we talk about what we're trying to do here on a daily basis, I mean, honestly, today, thank you, everybody. I retweeted a bunch of stuff today. Like, on the sticky note here is AMD short, is Tesla short, is Micron short, is the market short? So the fact that it's now 2:10 and we're coming back on air and the market is at the low of the day, you know, we're supposed to be doing what we're doing. So AMD again here, I mean, we just kept on keeping on. Boom, this is why this is PL1. Look at Nvidia. Now, I wish that we had, I mean, we were short and then we covered here for $8. Shout out to Adam, shout out to everybody in the chat, Kyle, everybody that was riding or rocking with this trade. We got stopped out a bunch of times on the way up, by the way. But then finally it drops down and I'm out there, I'm phoning my mother, I'm doing my walk outside, I'm running into geese, talking with my moms, talking with the wife, and I come back and I'm like, Nvidia is at 840? Man, like some of these, I'm gonna show you what I was talking about there. Here's the, this is hilarious. So this is right here. You can't really hear. So he starts squawking at me right here. Look at that. You know, he's like looking right now. He's like, get the heck out of here. So shout out to Canada Goose right now. And here's the partner. It was really cool. That's just behind where we work right now. Yeah, I know they're separated, but they're going to figure this out. They can see each other. All is good. So I was just like, if you go and listen to this, I was asking like, you good, my guy, and everything? You know, I was making sure we were communicating right there. It was all good. So there it is. You know, that's why, you know, you got to have some fun when you're around here. It's not just about, you know, trading. Got to get out there, walk around, do all that, have a little bit of time off in the middle of the day. But all right, so semis are weak. Yeah. I mean, we wrote down Micron 120 at the beginning of the day. That was no surprise. That was the short right there. Just never got there. So I'm learning something every day. We're going to be shorting now on 200 periods on basically every single thing that I say. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk. We are also short Citigroup, by the way.
Like a cross between a turkey and a duck.
Interesting.
Anyway.
You don't want to.
You don't want to know. There we go. Here's a picture that's kind of interesting. I'll read the headline. Boeing is reportedly introducing flying cars in Asia by 2030. It looks like a helicopter. I don't know. I mean, maybe they should get planes right first.
Have you seen the B-2 Osprey?
No.
It's like a vertical takeoff and landing. It has a ton of accidents. Has those propellers that shift forward when you're flying forward and go like this when you want to take off vertically.
Right.
Horrible airplane.
Anyways. Boeing being Boeing. Let's talk about Google and Meta, actually. This came up, and I was going to say semiconductors because it has to do with Nvidia Corporation. But Nvidia saying they've announced optimization across all of their platforms to accelerate Llama 3. So I guess Mark Zuckerberg picks up the phone and tells Nvidia to make it better.
Yeah, we were talking about that midday, Brendo. Probably why Meta was the strongest name on the day today. It was up over 3% at the highs, obviously retracing now. But with respect to Google, Canaccord Genuity giving Google the nod today, bumping up the price target from 180 to 190, liking this one, basically citing a more potential upside here for their AI base, Brendo.
Yeah, nice day, guys, for both here.
That is just sort of chilling now.
I hate
I mean, look, Meta up 2%, but You know, it had a really great ride. I tried to just get rid of that wick, but man, Meta, it just bounced essentially today off the 50-period moving average. So I guess it goes in the list of things which gave you a pullback to the 50-period on the daily, if you even want to call it that. So it got the ramp up late in the day because of the Snapchat, the TikTok Snapchat, the TikTok news, and then you get continuation of that strength.
Oh my God.
Hindsight being 2020, it was like it was a pretty great breakout through the $500 level, but you had to have that. Like you're taking that break essentially before the market opens up, and then maybe you're dipping into it after. This afternoon, it's really been mostly a short, so I don't know if I want to step in front of it unless it might be the 500 level. I guess that could come into play, but a good look for Meta. I do feel like you had that liquidity grab yesterday and then recovery. Usually you want it to hold out that support, and then the next step would be going higher. But the market's been awfully bearish. I don't know that I want to sit on this bid. I didn't trade Meta or Google. Like actually, it was Amazon for me, and Amazon was a good dip buy off the 180 level that I didn't do enough with. Again, that should have been a bigger win than it was, but it is what it is. And now they're flushing, so I think it's perilous, even for the strong names with the good catalyst, to be sitting on the bid. And then Google's the one that doesn't look like it's trending down of the three. That's the big cap tech, I should say. Meta, as strong as it was, kind of looking like it's pulling back. Google, if the market bounces, feels like it wants to break out. So kudos to Google for that.
I just tweeted this out. Did I cover too early? I mean, okay, now we got to be a little bit more, I don't know. I thought down to VWAP was pretty good. Like we shorted Amazon right here, 182.30. What are we talking about? Google and Meta. Okay, so again, we talked about this. The red name from the morning here, Google. We went long. Again, it's like, I can show you these ones where we go short and it absolutely tanks, or I can show you this one where I go long. We actually lost on this, and then it actually rips up. So this just proves the point that this is a tale of many different markets. You have to trade the right names at the right time. And, we didn't do that today with Google, my bad. But we sure did it with Amazon. Amazon is still very, very, obviously this is a positive stock. But again, nice move to the downside there on Amazon as we stay short this market. So I just salute everybody out there. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Citigroup's trying to go. We are short it right now. I've got a couple fills out here. We're just short at 10s. These are like 6s and 4. We just got a 4 or a 5 there. Hopefully we come back in for the banks. Watching to see if Citigroup tips the scales here below 58.
All right, $6 billion comes Micron's way. It ends up being a red day once again. Back to the downside. If you missed it this morning, though, new grant coming through. Bloomberg reporting this $6.1 billion, in fact, in investments for MU.
Yeah, Brendo, and that money could be received as soon as next week, according to this article. Specifically, what they're looking at investing in is high bandwidth memory, which is used alongside these newer AI chips. They have 2 fabrications under construction right now in the United States, one in Boise, Idaho, and the other one in Clay, New York, near Syracuse. So they'll need the money to finish these up.
My software is trying to update in front of me. Anyways, negative anyways here, guys, today for Micron.
The Clay I like is from Sons of Anarchy. It's a great character. Great show, great character, Clay. But Micron, as we were sort of saying, and it was also, see, when we do this, it's like we talk about the semis first, and then we go to Google and Meta. And I've already commented on Micron, but that's fine. I feel like we could put those two back to back, and then go through. But it doesn't really matter. Anyways, Micron. It'll be frustrating because, and the reason why the lesson of the day was Micron should be, the lesson of the day was find relative strength or weakness. It was because of Micron, as I think I just trailed out of something. I'll go back to ARM in a second.
Micron, maybe?
No, it wasn't Micron. Micron's short off this low here. But Micron, it tried to break it out, and then when everything else was fighting tops, you saw me, I was shorting pops on Intel, I was shorting pops on ARM, we even had a short in Nvidia, and all of those other ones, and it's fine. Nvidia won. ARM won. Intel eventually worked. But this one, you didn't have to fight. It tried the breakout at 17, and ever since that moment, it was just a short. Now it's kind of consolidating around the 113, so that's like a consolidation short entry. It's not a VWAP short. I think that's obvious. If it pops into VWAP, different trade. We like VWAP retracements in the afternoon. This is not one of them. So Micron, even on a good catalyst, it ends up being a dog, but it was the relative weakness of the stock that you don't have to have it early. If you have it too early, you get smoked. But the second it goes back into that maybe mistrade area, it's just lower highs all the way through. And that's kind of what you want to see when you have a trending stock. ARM, just because we did mention it, but ARM I had the short off the highs. This was a VWAP retracement short that I had late. It just took out VWAP to the upside. So I'm now out of ARM, but the last reload was in here, 105.5. I scalped it for 60 cents, and then it broke out. The better shorting opportunity all morning was off of 107, and that was the best. And really, I was shorted a lot, much underneath it. So, like I said, you have to be patient with the things, if you're shorting, you have to be patient with the things that are relatively strong, and you can be more aggressive with the ones that are relatively weak. Had that a little bit backwards today, so it was inefficient with the trading, so even a good day can always be better. So the grant money, I mean, at the end of the day, we've known about the CHIP Act for a while. Intel, Samsung, TSM, MU, they're all getting money, it's just a matter of when it comes through. And the market doesn't seem to care that much when these grants are sort of announced the date.
When I heard on the way in here this morning that Micron got money, I was instantly like, okay, and I heard they were up 1%. I knew immediately this was going to go on the sticky note for a short because same thing happened to Intel, rinse and repeat. We were under that 120, so I just wrote down that we wanted to short 120 on the sticky note. Never got there. Started to go real early. But again, when we're writing the sticky note, remember, we're at 118, like on good news. So I thought we could have gone up to $2 there. We didn't get it. It just continues to fall down, just another one down into the doldrums. As you guys know, what's been good all day. We've been hitting this bear since 8:30 this morning. So yeah, we're still pretty bearish. Although I feel like right now the market could be going the other way. We'll get to crypto in a minute, but you're starting to really, and again, shout out to Brendo on the podcast. We were talking about sort of buying smiley faces. Well, if you're going to look at the market a little bit right here, I feel like there's a little more green in the roundabout face here. We're starting to get back up to the upside. If we could take out 17.6 right now on the NASDAQ, then I do think that the smiley face is indeed on, and then we can get back up to the upside. So we'll see what happens here with the NASDAQ. But for me right now, we did cover some Tesla down. Tesla's not on the board, but we did cover some Tesla down there just now. We only have 20% of what we had on the top. So you can see there are literally 10 outs. So, well, now there's only 8, but I'm doing them 10 pieces at a time. So now as we go back up to the upside, we'll see what happens. And there it is. We actually just had Citigroup take out that top. So it will be a failed attempt at the short there on Citigroup. So we tried it. We went over to the banks and paid those bank dues right there to Citigroup. Breno, is it scheduled to have Frank Kaberna coming on in 20 minutes?
He is indeed, yes. Lots to talk about with Frank, but he was also mentioning the fact that there's not a heck of a lot coming up next week, which is kind of interesting ahead of the Fed.
Yep.
May 1st is the second day of the 2-day meeting, so we'll get a decision from him then. The rundown brought to you by our friends over at Pandamensional. Researching and strategizing in the stock market doesn't have to be difficult. With your personalized AI investing co-pilot from Pandamensional, you can easily discover stocks and effortlessly test and execute your strategy ideas. Get quick, digestible stock market insights with Pandamensional's AI chatbot and backtest and forward test strategies with Pandamensional's AI simulator, all in a beginner-friendly format. Try it now for free. Let's talk about crypto here. I was looking at that IBIT, kind of a back and forth type of a day for, I mean, crypto in general, Bitcoin anyways in general, but this ETF specifically, basically right back to where it started this morning after a nice move higher early on.
Yeah, and Coinbase basically around at top, got all the way to the top, and then we're basically giving up the entire thing here. And the reason I mentioned Coinbase is because it got the nod from Bernstein today. analyst Harshita Rawat maintaining Coinbase with a market performance raising the price target aggressively here from $80 to 200 to kind of reflect the recent run up. I guess not a moment too soon, but yeah, everything in crypto land is still green, Brendo.
Ahead of the expected halving coming up on the weekend this weekend, guys.
Ooh, the halvening. Just before we get to it, I just trailed out of Intel, so you can sort of see it here. We're short at the 50s, but it just came back up through. Let's go here. Like, it just came back up through this big support and then turned into the last green candle, 34.90, bounced off 34.75. If it gets anywhere near, like above 35 even, into 35.10 to VWAP, that's where I want to reload that one. So we're out of it. Now Micron's the only position. We had some plans to look at some crypto. I mean, I had said if we got to 64, 65, I was going to look for a short reversal at those prices. But you know what? I didn't trade it. The only person on the desk I think that traded crypto today was Adara. She was trading
I don't have anything.
IBIT and Mara. And I mean, if you look at it, it got, like, IBIT did come up. IBIT did come up to some resistance and made a curl. It got to VWAP. It flushed off VWAP. Like, that was gold. Like, it was a good retracement trade. It got into resistance. The second it broke VWAP, it just happens to be the even at 36. I don't think that means anything, but yeah, a pretty good technical opportunity. Maybe there's something as it comes back into 36 there, but the market is starting to go.
Yeah, you might have just saw a plane come in right there because we hopped on the Boeing. And we're going with Boeing, hopefully to the upside right now. We are long at 170.12. We just took some out at 30, then at 35. So that's okay. Now we'll see if we can get back up to the upside here. We said the market was smiley facing itself all the way back upside. So that's what we're going to take, sort of rest our laurels on here and see if we can't, get a bigger bump up here for Boeing. I mean, I was going to get out at 169. I mean, this is where the 50 period is. So 169.90 right there. So again, risk, that's like 20 cents worth of risk. We don't quite have a full position. I would like to average in if available. But I'm not sure that's going to be available. So we'll wait to see here if we can. But so far, so good here on Boeing. As far as crypto is concerned, yeah, I mean, I know, and I think everybody knows as well, that we really like to trade IBIT. We talked about that. As far as Coinbase, this reminds me about Mara, because I feel like we might have hit that nail on the head this morning with Mara when we talked about 1450. We talked about that level. It came right into there. I wasn't confident with it, so this is not a trade that I had. But if you're going to look at the 20-minute chart and or the daily, which we did do, if this halvening isn't as big of a deal as maybe we all think, I think there's an opportunity to get some love back in Mara. So down here at 14 and change, this could be a very, very good swing trade opportunity for those interested, down in and around 14.50 for Mara. So this gap fill, I think you can hold it back to 13. But again, I don't know what this is going to look like if the halvening happens over the weekend and it's not perceived to be well for these miners. I'm not sure where it's going to open up. But for right now, as we say before, Boeing starting to go back up to the upside right now. It's at 50, and we just get that fill at 50. So let's face slap it out, man. We lost some money on the banks, but we get back into that shell and reload, and now we're up nicely here on Boeing, considering taking another piece out on BA here.
All right, we're making an executive decision here on the final topic because we already discussed coin and crypto. So let's touch on Tesla here real quick, because coming up on Tuesday, I believe, Tuesday next week, we get Tesla earnings. This is a 14-month low today for Tesla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row downside here. Ugly.
Yeah, and Deutsche Bank definitely giving Tesla a bit of a hard time today, downgrading it from a buy to a hold and lowering the price target aggressively from 189 to 123. Here's what they say. The delay of the Model 2 efforts create the risk of no new vehicles in Tesla's consumer lineup for the foreseeable future, which would put continued downward pressure on its volume and pricing for many more years, requiring downward earnings estimates revisions for 2026 and onwards. A bit of a tougher look ever since we heard of the cancellation of the Model 2, Brendo.
Yeah, this is, I was just trying to find, where's the beginning? It's actually not, according to this chart anyways. This is January of 2023. So we're in this gap right now for Tesla. But yeah, all of the gains from 2023, gonzo for Tesla.
Yeah, April 27th. What day is today? So literally one, pretty much a month. I mean, it's not a year, but I mean, come on. Like, it's basically a year. Oh, you can't see it because my head's in the way. Can we get my head?
That's okay. I mean, they get the idea.
Whatever, man. You go all the way back to last year and you bounce off the
There we
150. There you go. It's actually, it was fine. Everyone understands. You bounce off the 150. Today, you're trying to bounce off the 150. Let's look at a 3-minute because it's just a little bit more granular. So I did the same thing with Tesla that I did with ARM. I was probably a little too stubborn with the 150 level. Now, most times, I'm going to be more aggressive taking profits and scalp trades out. And then other times I'm like, no, the 150 is going to go and we're going to hold most of it. And so like the first initial trade, this was an accidental in and out, whatever. This short was in here. I'm going to hold a bunch of it. And when it goes down to 148.5, I'm like, nope, we're holding. It's going. 145 is in tow. I end up stopping that trade out. So that was a bit sloppy. I got very, very greedy with that, and it'll be the reason I'm red on it. Then when we're trading it later on for less, it ends up working. I had a VWAP trade that I was just sitting in this off VWAP looking for it to roll over. I think Sharif was talking about this as well, like at 150.5. And I was just in it, and then I started scalping it. So I'm like, no, we're going to hold that again. And then it broke out that stop. It's right back up. So there's a battle happening at 150. If it doesn't break away $1 either direction for tomorrow, maybe this is like, it's options, it's supported at a 50 level, and it's going to take some time to work its way past this price. But all roads have led to the downside for Tesla. You talk about the EVs being under pressure. Well, this is one that has been trending down for a while, so it is what it is. 151's about to come in, though, as well. So 151, you can see it right there, like that was a recent resistance level.
Yeah, we just shorted some more right there, but I just want to say again, make sure you do check out the podcast. We did film it yesterday, and I mean, you guys want to talk about. So Tesla's just not performing right now. There is absolutely no doubt about that, right? But when you talk about his compensation package and some of the issues that do surround Tesla, let's not forget about this. Ford right now is $12. Okay, Ford back in here. How about this, Ramin and Fabian? We talked about this yesterday. Ford back in 1993 was the same price as it is today.
Joe Carter.
Okay? Shout out to the Blue Jays. The last time, I'm not going to say that they were good because because they've been good since, but the last time they've actually won.
Okay,
there you go. Okay? I love the Blue Jays.
Don't get me emotional.
I think Toronto, honestly, baseball playoffs is amazing in Toronto. Obviously. Most cities, I think that would be the truth. But there you go. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention because you know what happens if I flip the symbol on this and you go to Tesla? I mean, $1.95 back in 2012, anyways. I know that's not what we're getting at. I just want to say, everybody, I don't know if it's a calm down moment or not because I do think there is nervous hands here in Tesla.
Actually, my stink bid finally hit.
Right.
I sold my soul.
Sold my soul? Yeah,
I sold my Ford shares.
Shout out to my wife.
Oh, man. I own Ford shares. And I was like, if it doesn't hold, there was like a support level. I won't bother showing it. You just saw the chart. Yeah. It was support level, like I'm getting out. If it can't get into the high teens, I'm just going to get out if it breaks this. And then that money went into, I just threw a bid in front of 150 on my personal account. I'm like, I'm just going to put it in Tesla because one to the other and hold it. And that's essentially what we've done. Well, what I've done. Just whatever. Like Ford
is just hot garbage.
Well, that's basically what it came down to. Is like, do I want to bid on? Do I want to hold Ford? A couple of things. Like I said, 151 just came in. I shorted 73s and DJTs at the high of the day. But I think, are we done the rundown here? So just for anyone that's watching it, sometimes you get out too early. But I said at the time I had a plan for the DJT breakout that was going to be here to here. It ended up being a small fraction of what is a parabolic move in DJT. It's squeezing today. This happens. And good luck to anybody out there. Like, I'm not going to pretend to value this stock or its potential. That's not what we do. But the momentum is there. It's up 20% today. Sometimes you have to break through, trap some shorts under 25, break through, break out yesterday's highs. And how much room it has, obviously you just saw the daily chart for a split second. There's a lot of room to the top. it's already at a double top at some resistance here at 32.5. But good luck to you if you're trading it. I will not be buying any tops. I liked it when it was at that low, that 25, where you can kind of buy it into the move and just get in and get out. I'm not a huge fan of hoping that thing it continues to run parabolically.
All right, guys. So yeah, we're done that board right now. Let's just props it up because, I mean, once again, this is the same trade that we've been doing for basically all afternoon, shorting these pops in Tesla. So there it comes again. Boom, a little piece out, and let's just ride with this and see how far we can get on TSLA. So, I mean, again, we really like this. It's the number 2 idea today on the sticky note, along with the AMD short. So, as we say, this should be, you know, a top P&L name for us. And so far, Tesla has been pretty good. I was surprised when it got going early on Tesla, and we actually got our last piece stopped out there. We sort of talked about this, that it was a little rough there when we kept on going up because I have, again, the high of the day. I got stopped out at the very high of the day, and I made it. So that's what happens sometimes, and I was giving it a little bit of room past this 152, and I guess 152.20, that's where I got stopped out. So the fact that we're still green on the name and we've had that, you know, is just sort of testament to staying true to the ideas that you had originally and making sure that you get that all figured out. So, okay, so that's that. Nice move down. I do have another bid at the quarters here for Tesla, and then we're just going to go off of that. So that's what I'm looking at right now is the Tesla short. The Boeing long, we just took out another piece of that Boeing long. It's actually come in, which is fine for me. I'm making way more money on Tesla than I am on Boeing. But we already got some out on Boeing. We're out of 60% of this name, as it did go to the 50 period, or sorry, the 200 period. So that was a good out for us. There's Boeing in and out. We just took another piece out there at 25. Hopefully it comes back in. But honestly, let's get this market red, man. Let's do exactly what we've been doing all morning. We've been talking bear all morning. It's on the sticky note. Word bear, emoji bear, dancing bear. Dancing bear on the emoji today, on the sticky note today, and you can see the reaction to the market. So maybe tomorrow we'll put a bull up there. We'll see what we're feeling like.
Oh, I didn't even notice Randy made that change. Randy sometimes sneaks it in there every now and then, but I'm not. The only thing I just got a long, and it's the first one in. When was I long? A DJT at the open. Amazon for like 5 minutes at the open, and then this on Google at VWAP. So Google's at VWAP. You can kind of see it trending to the upside there. But I have Micron and Tesla to the short side. By the way, Nvidia is about to, I mean, it just wicked the VWAP again. Like this has a chance to really roil the markets up, or down, I suppose. Roil up, like excite them, but to the downside very, very specifically. Because Nvidia's actually been holding both green and 840 support, which is basically where the higher low was on the stock earlier in the day. So as long as this is happening, you have some strength to maybe hold things. And if that rolls over, if Google loses VWAP and Nvidia loses 840, you can pretty much stick a fork in most of these things. Tesla, I'm on the bid in front of 150. We're gonna scalp some out there for sure. What else do you guys wanna look at? I mean, Nvidia is similar to Tesla's setup. The only difference I would say is Tesla is, the 151 is a short over VWAP, whereas Nvidia is actually tagging VWAP, but it's probably a distinction without a difference. It's a stock that's putting in a lower high with a general like afternoon trend low. Like it made the tops at noon and has been falling since. You're shorting a lower high. So yeah, you're getting a lower high in the afternoon on that. But let me know what else you guys are trading. I mean, I'm just kind of following along with DJT for anybody that's in it. I don't anticipate wanting any longs in that stock for myself. Uh-oh, Apple.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It's got the last line of defense for Apple right now.
We're
This is
getting,
it.
yeah, we're getting out more of Boeing. I canceled all my bids. I'm not going to average into this. We've already said bears stand up, man. We said that at 8:30, and you know we're really enjoying this move down. As again, I just hope that you know everybody is get our watch list, get absolutely everything that we possibly provide. And then check out the watch list, check out the sticky notes, check out the Neil's morning mix, all of that kind of stuff, man. I mean, I can call up the sticky note again, but you guys know what it is, man. We have bears aplenty on that, and we even talked about levels that we're looking at on there. And yeah, so we're doing pretty good and we're pretty happy today. So yeah, let's just continue that positive vibe and keep going with some of these trades. I do want to get out of that Boeing. I mean, obviously here comes Tesla right now, and yeah, man, shout out to our girl Brittany, because we did do this again. And shout out to Taylor Swift,
What's
who's
she
dropping
doing these days?
Dead Poets Society, Dead Poets Department, I think. Today, my wife is going insane about it. There's all these like little Instagram things that are popping up everywhere. So that's going to be a monster. But okay, there it comes, down to the downside, man. We'll take another one there on Tesla. Congratulations, anybody. They call it things like copy trading and stuff like that, but you guys have seen right here, 151 all day. Someone messaged me and was like, you guys offer copy trading? And I'm just like, I mean, just watch live for damn free, because that's what we're doing all day, every day. Kathy, are you coming in to save this stock or what? Because there goes Tesla down to 150. Let me know when you do, because then I can get out. But for right now, we're holding on to this short.
Yeah, I think it's all the reason to. Someone was asking me about this IBTA, but I really, must be like that IPO, but so surprised you're not long IBTA. So I'm not, like, I don't know, like, doesn't always look bullish. Like, to me, if you're going for long on something, I want like a, historical price, no historical prices here, so I don't have any support levels to go off of. The trend hasn't broken back to the upside. You're not above VWAP. You're not above like this 103. Like, I guess if it gets above that, it's reversing the trend. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't take a shot in this. At least nothing I see sets up for a trade that'd be normal for me on the first day. Like, there's certain things that we would look for, and it's every trader's their own, that we would look for trades. I don't see it. Maybe it's like, oh, take a shot at the 100 level because it's above 100. That's not really a thing for me. Maybe the first time when it's bouncing off 100 here, that would make sense. Brendan?
Get as much as 50 to 1 leverage when trading Forex at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rates and offer $0 commission trading using a Forex account at IG. For a limited time, traders can open fund and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
You know what?
Go up, Google, so I can get out of it.
I'm just trying to get out of this now, this Boeing. I mean, we're doing pretty good here, man. I mean, AMD, we're $2 in the money. We just missed that reload there. That's too bad on VWAP. So now we're sitting there now. If that happens one more time, we've already talked about this Tesla, man. I mean, this is just a money-making opportunity today, like over and over again. We nailed this stock pretty much all month. It's been a good day. Okay, so that's what's happening right there. So as long as we stay green, I mean, this will be 15 and 2, our last 17. I'm going to double check that. It might even be better if we extend it out. We were just looking at our last 20 the other day with Adam and everybody else right there. Amazon, I tweeted this just hilariously about myself. Like, do we think we got out of this a little bit too early? I feel like this is a great short again back at 180, and we should definitely take advantage of that. As you can see, Amazon, nice move, man. I mean, we took the dollar, we spun that club in the middle of the day, and then this happened. So I took it out at VWAP, I took it out at the 200. I mean, I got to be who I'm being, and that's that. It's the same thing with this Nvidia trade. Would still love to be short this, obviously. But we shorted these tops. We talked about 860 a little bit. We lost in here when it was at 855 and 852, so that sucked. But that was a good recovery there on that one. We're still in Tesla. Square, I mean, look, we were short Square. That was wrong. Obviously, the market's pulled in there, but Square was weaker than the market. We noticed that. We were short too early. That was a loss. So today, although we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll go 4 and 4, it looks like today, with Square, Nvidia, Citigroup, 4 and 3. So lose on Citigroup, a loss on Nvidia, and a loss on Square, and then AMD, Amazon, Boeing, and our favorite Tesla will do it. So far so good here. Let's just wait to see now what happens. But I did just get out of that Boeing. Mistake or not, I don't know. We got out for flat. We preserved the capital there, and now we'll wait to see. Oh, man, I wish I was long, Neil.
No, you don't wish you were long, wish. Context logic's moving for some reason.
I mean, you don't wish you were long that?
Oh, okay, fine. Like, okay, I wish I was long at $5 earlier, but I don't wish I owned the stock in my personal account or anything like that. So, yeah, look, for context, I didn't hear anything specifically news-wise about Wish just now, but obviously it's a big volume spike. reverse split. This is actually not that big of a move on the daily chart here, and it's right into resistance. So in the absence of something that's actually making this happen, maybe nothing. But again, like massive volume spike, it's going to get your attention. So anyone that's, I can't imagine why anybody would be in Wish, would have been sitting in Wish when this happened. Something has probably hit the wire, and if we hear it, I'll let you guys know in the moment. But Micron, just go back to Micron. I did get a fill 120, 112 and a half. I'll reload it 113s if we can, and we'll go stair step to the downside. I'm also in the Tesla 151. Love some 151. Rum and Coke action. And then Google's trying to bounce off of VWAP, but it's going to fail, it looks like. We wicked off VWAP down into the 90s. If it can't hold on to 90, I think we just jump out of this. I mean, the shorts have been the jam pretty much. It's about 10 o'clock on the market and then noon on anything that was strong. Google's the only thing that's above VWAP that I've been paying attention to that looks like it had some strength left in it. Still nothing on that context logic. I mean, I'll let you know. It just feels like something must have happened. Like Wish isn't doing, like it's not going up 13% when it was doing nothing all day long without some kind of a headline.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw it on the scanner as well. That was popping up there. I don't see any news story on that as well either, I should say. So what's been really, really impressive, and again, I mean, whatever. If we don't advertise it, I mean, you know, we're not going to get the word out. Podcast. We've talked about Nike. Again, like, we looked at this $90 level. I have no idea. Nike is not a recent IPO, although I'm not sure where my daily chart is going on this. So, you know what? Let me see if I flip. I was just looking at Boeing. Oh, no, we got out of Boeing there at 10s. Now it's all the way back up. I thought the market was heading the other way. All right, there's Nike. Oh, look at that. That actually worked. That refreshment. Okay. There was a level down here at 90 that we had talked about. And again, you know, this is why I always sort of question sometimes when you pull back levels and you're like, oh, this was easy to buy down there. You know, because if we look at that for like a Tesla, we're talking about that right now. Like, what if it loses it? There's been lots of levels, like we've talked about PanW as well, some levels that stock is at. Various names where they come into these levels and they do lose them, and then it's like, see you later. So you had to sort of be bold with trying to buy some of these dips. But, you know, we talk about some of these names that not many of them have gone back into. And this wasn't even the October low. This was the September low. The October low where the whole market took off was right here. To the upside. But again, not a great report. Starting to take a look at, I believe with Nike, there were some Chinese issues there. But heading into the Olympics, this is what I said anyways on the show. Like, I don't know. I mean, on the pod. You know, whether or not this turns out to be the truth or not. But I just thought, you know, when everyone's going to be, I don't know, but everyone, but enough people will be watching the Olympics, and, you know, the Nike will obviously, the swoosh will be there everywhere. And it's just like, you know, good possibility for that to go back up to the upside. So there goes Nike again. And then I also used that I thought possibly China was actually turning around, and there was a good opportunity there in that space. But this is coming on the radar. I'm just showing you that I'm not going to trade it. It's up and it's down, the market. So right now you'd look at it and say, I was looking at it and saying it's right now above VWAP. So I was thinking about shorting this back into this area, but it's too strong, and it has a beautiful daily. There's not many stocks right now that have. The S&P has its largest losing streak of the year right now, and Nike is on a 6-day winning streak.
Oh,
so that makes me think maybe to go into Lululemon.
I'm buying dips in Lululemon. But not everyone watches track and field. But I will tell you this. I'm a big track fan. I love the Olympics. And if you're a track and field fan, then you know there is already chatter about like the track and field kits, which is like the uniforms for both the U.S. and the Jamaican teams. And everyone's talking about the Nike outfits that are going to be worn. And again, that's just if you follow track and field. But let's be real. When do the majority of people actually watch track? You know, it's going to be an Olympic year. So like that's the time. Like that's when they get their juice, and that's when Nike's going to get their juice. I think Lulu looks good as well. There was a question about why is Oracle tanking? Market's down. Oracle broke a technical level today. Like I think it was like Oracle was trending down because tech was trending down. I think that's a little bit fair. And 118, you can see here it failed 118, but it's underneath the 50 period, and 118 was a very big level on the way up. Like just a huge resistance level on the way up. It just failed the 50 period. Seems like it made some kind of a technical move to the downside. But you know what? Oracle Here's a pullback into the 200 period moving average in about 5% or less than that, 3%. Good stock. I own it myself. I might be a little bit more patient than that, and I haven't bought Oracle in a really, really long time. It's been a couple of years since I've actually done anything with the stock, but again, some stocks are just healthy pullbacks that you are seeing in the market. That is what it is, and I think Oracle could be the same thing. We didn't really talk about the weed names. I see Brandon saying Tilray in the chat. But Tilray is the one that's not going, Brandon Profit. So if you're saying Tilray, I think you should be, like, this is the opposite. I'm not even hitting the weed Batman for that one. Because if you see this, as opposed to this, CGC, as opposed to that's ACB, today is one of those days, not difficult to separate the winners and the losers out of the cannabis names. So, you got to be playing the relative strength. Tilray is doing absolutely nothing on a day where CGC and ACB are flying. I mean, absolutely flying to the upside.
And they fly high, no lie. Yeah, you do know this. Okay.
That's what Clay was. Actually, Clay was doing this.
But it was air ball.
No, well, I mean, he doesn't. He was clanking them. He just. Clay's a great play. Clay was a great player. He had a lot of injuries. It's just that Golden State.
He's NBA. I think he's top 50 or something, or top 100, wherever they released that, and it was all that controversy that there's no way he should have been there, but he is. Okay, so we started. I don't know. Like, we've already sort of had Amazon at the high of the day already up here. I just know it's weak, so I wanted to look for something to short. But the thing is, now that I've zoomed in on Amazon, I'm sort of noticing that this is not going to be for a very long time. I was wondering about giving it up into the 50s here. So this is something that I'm going to do. So we'll start the trade right here, early position, try to get a little bit more in, somewhere in the 30s here, and then just use these 50s as our out, because this top goes back, and it's not, I have to zoom way in. Like, I was just kind of looking at right in and around here, and then maybe we should just take less shares and then wait for this level. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Market's still down 0.5%. We'll go short.
That's
We're not
50.
We're not even out of the money, man.
That's
We're
the 50 period, not.
Yeah. So it's actually really fun because when we first started this show, this 50 period didn't even exist. I had it on with Mark Roberts on the daily. Then I started putting it on the 1 minute, and since then I've really been using it, and it's been pretty good. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't work. That's not why I'm in it now. That has nothing to do with it. I just starting the trade here. I'm looking to get more in this break right there, 179.50. So that's what we want. But it's nice that it's working out right now. Here goes Amazon. Okay. So yeah, we'll take a little piece out here. We're getting ready. The problem is we do have Frank coming on, and although I do not believe that he affects the market in any which way.
Not this time.
Frank, bring Frank on. I want to talk to this guy.
Not tanking it this time.
Let me know when he's on. See if I can talk to Frank, if he can hear me. I need to see how he's feeling here. What's going on with everything?
Wait, Sean, what would you like? I can relay. Oh, there you go.
I was just going to ask him, how's everything going? Because I remember that we talked about the White Sox, and I couldn't remember. I think you're a Cubs fan, because the White Sox this year. Oh, you're White Sox?
Yeah.
Oh,
Southside guy.
It's not going well for them.
All right, my bad. Sorry about that, Frank. I need to pass you right back to Brendan.
Frank's 24 hours away
good.
from vacation. So
I know. That's
it's
what I
all
was going
good.
to ask him.
Good day, sir. Let's jump into a few things here that people need to know. We were talking a little bit at 2 o'clock about, I mean, it seems like day after day, any day really, we come in and yields are down or the dollar's down. By the end of the day or even this time in the afternoon, they're right back up again. So it's this continued narrative and continued result that we see where it's just not going away. Like, here comes 5% again.
Yeah, and I mean, equity traders see this, of course, when the S&P and NASDAQ are on a roll. I mean, like we saw from pretty much October until 2 weeks ago, where it's like even the down days, they fight back to unchanged. And we get this as well in interest rates and in yield markets. It's actually the first markets that I traded at the Chicago Board of Trade. And you can just get these, several weeks to months spans where the ball is rolling in one direction, and it's really freaking hard to stop that ball. And right now it is interest rates higher as And it's funny because, with everything that is seemingly pouring fear into the stock market and the gold market, and a little bit of the US dollar market, you would think that rates would be moving lower, right? I mean, the war in the Middle East and the stock market moving lower for either that or just because. You would expect that bonds would be a flight to quality and interest rates would be moving lower off of that action. But the strength that we're seeing in that market that is obviously coming from strong US data and a more hawkish Fed in recent weeks has just been unrelenting. I mean, the 2-year, in terms of the futures, look like they might hit 5% here today. They're just a couple basis points off of that 5% level, which would be highs for interest rates going back to October. And as you can see, the room between where we're at and those highs before rates got annihilated in the last 3 months of 2023, there's not a lot of upside past that 5%. The highs were 5.1, 5.2% when it comes to short-term interest rates like the 2-year. And so this is really becoming a big story here. For your point, Brendan, it's unrelenting move to the upside in interest rates. But we're getting back to that territory that we saw in the fall of last year, where it was like, maybe they aren't cutting anytime soon here. The interesting piece is, though we have seen some stock downside in recent weeks here, the correlation's just not really there. The stock market is doing its own thing, continues to do its own thing. The strongest correlation, to your point, is between those interest rates and US dollar. But yeah, man, it's and you and I have been watching the Fed Watch stuff as it's incrementally gone from 6 cuts to 3 cuts to now maybe 1 cut this year. And the odds of no cuts just continue to climb as those treasury yields climb. Obviously, pretty much the same product. The Fed funds futures and treasury futures are very, very highly correlated. But yeah, unbelievable move.
Yeah, and as you said, the market shrugs its shoulders and just stays, at or near the highs here where we've been. Coming off a little bit here, let's talk about the Bank of Japan, because we've had just wild action in the Japanese currency specifically on these moves from the Bank of Japan. They said they were going to revisit it, correct me if I'm wrong, again at the end of this year or possibly early 2025, whether or not they would go again. What is the latest when it comes to this, and how does this sit as far as the overall landscape is concerned?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at interest rates in Japan for the last 10, 20, 30 years, and you can see it's very boring stuff, very different stuff than the US or Canada or the Euro area. And they did hike their last meeting for the first time since, I believe, 2007, but that only got them back to zero. And it was it was a classic buy the rumor, sell the news type of move, because that was the strongest that we saw Japanese yen going into that hike. And then they hiked. And then since that hike, it's been like an unbelievable demolishment of this Japanese yen. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. I mean, show the chart here and you can see 155, a dollar getting you 155 yen. I mean, this is the highest since 1990. And you might be like, Frank, I feel like I've heard you say that. Yeah, because it's been nonstop blowing out these highs for US dollar, lows for yen since they hiked. And this is such a good reminder to people, especially as not only do we have the Bank of Japan next week, but then following it'll be all of the central banks, including the Fed. But the action, again, is not so important from these central banks as the projection or where they think their economies are going in the future. And yeah, it was a classic, we're hiking for the first time in a decade, and this is strong for Japan and everything else. And then the central bankers come out and say, but we don't really see a lot more upside in this interest rate, at least in the short and medium term. And then it's like, well, the U.S. is still at 5.5% and seemingly maybe going to not cut it all here this year. And so you just see the U.S. dollar strength resurface to pretty historic degrees. 155 is you can see now the monthly chart where we're trading. The last time we were up here was, I believe it was May of 1990. So whatever that is, 34 years coming up on. And so it'll be interesting to see what the Bank of Japan has to say, not only further interest rate policy, but a lot of people wondering if they are going to, or already have tried to, do any kind of manipulation to that Japanese yen itself, because this is pretty uncharted territory in that Forex market. So it'll be interesting to see what they have to say. But obviously, we're more preparing for the following week with the Fed and the other major central banks that are looking at potential cuts or not.
Yeah, and I actually showed when we came on here at 2 o'clock this afternoon, just the CAD US dollar. You got to go back to November of last year to see the levels that we're at currently for Canadian dollar USD. So if we could give people or the audience, a little bit of perspective on what's going to change that in the near term, what would that be? What would that take as far as bringing things back to earth a little bit here?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so every Forex market, every currency is priced in terms of another currency, right? And so what we're seeing right now is resounding U.S. dollar strength to varying degrees. Obviously, really big strength in terms of Japanese yen, but decent strength. That Canadian dollar has been one of the strongest competitors to the U.S. dollar in recent years. Now, what's going to need to change to reverse that U.S. dollar strength, or put it on steroids, so to speak, and maybe get that euro market back to parity, could be on the U.S. side, or it could be on that global ex-U.S. side. So either Canada or the euro area or what have you. And what the context is right now, Brendan, is essentially, are you going to cut rates, and how much are you going to cut rates? And so to really flip this thing on its head in terms of what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks, to reverse that U.S. dollar strength would take either PCE next Friday. I forgot, we do have PCE next Friday, an inflation number from the U.S. next Friday that is lower than expected. That could really reverse that U.S. dollar. If you get that or you get Fed Chair Powell the following Wednesday to come out and say, yes, we're seeing the inflation being a little bit stickier than we expected, but we are committed to cutting interest rates this year, then you'd really see that flip. Because like I say, now the question has become, will the U.S. cut rates, not how much will they cut rates? And so if you see anything like that leading on the dovish side of interest rates in the U.S., then that U.S. dollar could give back a lot of ground, given how much strength it's seen in recent weeks here. And same thing goes on the other side of things. If Canada has stronger than expected numbers, or the Bank of Canada comes out and says, you know what, we're not looking at cutting. Everything is so strong here that we're waiting until inflation gets down to 2% on the dot. That would be Canadian dollar strength. And same goes for the ECB and the euro and the Bank of England and the pound. Now, on the flip side of things, if those central bankers come out, Brendan, and I think this is kind of the fear here, and what is being set up for right now, is that the global central bankers, not named the Fed, come out and say, yeah, we're going to cut a couple of times this year. And then the Fed comes out and says, we're waiting for inflation to get lower because the US data is so strong. Then you might have that US dollar press through those highs that we saw a couple of years ago. The audience, might remember, even if you're not trading Forex, you remember when euro got down to 95 cents, blew through parity for a couple of weeks. It wasn't even just a flash. It was a couple of weeks there. And we're right now at that inflection point of, are we going to get back down there or up there in terms of US dollar strength? or will the Fed come out and kind of quell some of these fears and essentially say, yeah, we're watching inflation. We're not so worried about it. We're going to cut. I don't see that happening. That's not what Fed Chair Powell said as recently as this week. And so it'll be really interesting to see. This is one of those that it'll be really interesting to see what all of the central bankers say over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, it starts with the PCE inflation from the US a week from tomorrow, and then follows through with the Fed Wednesday right after that. But yeah, right now, those global currencies looking very vulnerable, and that US dollar looking very strong.
Yeah, you put it perfectly. I think going back to Tuesday when we last spoke, in that, you know, Fed Chair Powell keeps reiterating the sense that he wants to see inflation over time moving sustainably towards 2%. And right now it's not. Let's be honest. It's going the exact opposite direction. So that PCE number going to be, I think, a key here as to how the rest of the year, let's be honest, plays out. Because if it is, you know, back to the upside along with the CPI and other data that we just got, yeah, we could be looking sometime into 2025. Great stuff. We are Frankless for a week. Enjoy your holiday, sir. We'll be in touch for Fed Week.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can't wait to get back. But yeah, have a great week. Peace.
Take care.
Frankless? Well, where is he going on vacation? You got to keep on, be like, hey, what are you doing for your week off? You going anywhere fun? Probably not watching the Chicago White Sox unless you're into that kind of a disaster. No, I follow baseball. The White Sox have had really, really rough luck.
No, I meant to. That's I actually meant to ask him about the White Sox.
Hey, put in a call to the GM, and maybe they can trade some because they're selling, right? So they can trade somebody.
Selling
to the Jays.
already.
Well, of course
Checks
they're
watch
gonna sell.
April 18th.
They're gonna sell. Luis Robert would look good in a Blue Jays uniform. That dude, that kid is a baller. Straight up. And he actually even looks like a basketball player, if anything. Like
if they drafted him for the wrong sport.
Dude, well,
See, this is the problem. They got to have better drafting. They got to draft baseball players.
If that guy grew up in the U.S., if you see him as an athlete, he's a wide receiver or he's like a shooting guard or something.
Yeah.
Like he's that kind of an athlete. It just would have been different.
The market's starting to go a little bit
now.
upside now.
What's like the inverse, Frank?
Okay. So we get rid of Frank, and then the market goes absolutely
Tesla's going to test 151. Google off VWAP. I'm scalping some out here in the 156 hat, but Google VWAP is holding, but it's like in one hand out the other. Here comes 151 on Tesla. If it takes out tens, I'm out of that one.
I think is
something happened.
Something, as they say, maybe a foot.
The game is a foot
right now.
Tesla might break the support.
The market is a foot.
If Tesla breaks 151.10, which
I already got out of Tesla there,
then the next stop is 152, and I would sit it out until then.
I guess we could short it against. Yeah, we could short it against that.
152 is the level.
151.21. All right, we'll go back into it. So I just, again.
I don't hear anything.
Sometimes you get these moves, and we say that, you know, part of the best thing to do when you're trading is sometimes to sit on your hands and wait to see if you can get a recovery move a little bit here. So we'll do that. We just got short in AMD. So thank you, baby. Come again. One more time. Like I said, PL number one, you ain't going anywhere right now as AMD goes all the way up to that 155 area, and we shorted it. So let's take a piece out. I mean, we just got on board there. It's not going to be great unless this market fades. We got O's, so we got 154.95. So we are taking this back in right now, 20 plus pennies. So let's punch some more out at 74, take those 20 pennies to the bank. And then here comes Amazon. All right, so we done good here again on Amazon. So there it goes. It does come back up. We knew we wanted the Amazon short. We got it, and we got it good. And then we got stopped out on Tesla. So that was a good call that you didn't get that level there, because I got stopped out at...
My stop was at 10.
I got stopped out at O's there or something like that, 05. But again, we got back in off of that top candle wick there. So even if this just pulls in 20 or 30 cents, I would consider that a victory for Tesla. But that came out. That did come out. We took a profit there. We reloaded it. And then right now we'll short again against that wick top of 151.20 or so. So Tesla's in the pocket, hopefully. And I don't know, man. The market, that was little...
It was weird.
It was okay. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of volume there in the futures.
For nothing to have Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, it's one of the bigger spikes that we've seen in the last hour and a bit. Well, let's hope it gets faded. I mean,
Well,
for,
no, it was
for
the
my
biggest
sake.
spike.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be
It was the
selfish.
biggest spike in the future since lunch.
Right.
Yeah, it's the biggest spike in 3 hours on the futures in volume, that is. I mean, it maybe move more at some point. But like that matters. A lot of times you get that first reaction, like you have your stops out, you have the stocks that you want, but my first thought is, oh, what just happened? And then maybe assess what just happened. Like was there news on one of the Mag 7 and maybe that pushed the stocks up? Do I need to go over to something specific? In this particular case, once we didn't see anything, reloaded Micron. I didn't reload Tesla. I ended up not getting stopped out by 2 or 3 cents, but I reloaded Micron instead. And then Alphabet ended up going another bounce off VWAP. Kind of zoomed in too far there. Another bounce off VWAP, but these have been relatively shallow. Like it's bouncing, going 20 cents, bouncing, going 30 cents. I'd like it to get to the high of the day. So Google's having a good day. It's just, you know, the market's still looking a little bit heavy. Speaking of, let's put this into context. I mean, like the bottom channel for the entire afternoon on the NASDAQ, all we did is bounce off the low and not even get back to the high. Like we actually turned 20 points away from the noon high on the NASDAQ. So we didn't even travel back up to the resistance point that we've been going back and forth. I see Dan Emmons said he had a long in there. Congrats to you. If you like that power hour bounce, maybe, you know what? Sometimes we say this, like the market likes to do these reversals and we talk about the frank bounce, but it's probably just more of an afternoon thing if it's been a short. Sometimes there's a bit of a rally and a post-move rally. Could be something along those lines. I'm not going to try to over-explain it. Either way, I might not go to the well a third time on Micron, and I don't even think on Tesla. I don't know if I go to this well again. It's holding this consolidation, so I'm just going to jump out. Because really, I feel like for Tesla, I've been ridiculously impatient with this stock and inefficient today. Like I think it's my most inefficient stock. Like I was when I wanted, I'm late to this move and then holding it the most and turning a winner into a loser. Then when I have probably the best short, I still try to hold a bunch. Like it's like that's the best short I had on it, and I still try to hold half of it for more and end up turning. If it's not a big loser, but it's still could have taken more out. And then the VWAP short was a scalp that I was just consistently holding and adding to for no reason. So I'll go with that. While I'm not stopped out of it right now, I've been inefficient with it. No need to go like a 50 millionth time on the short. So let's see if the NASDAQ can go green or at least go past afternoon resistance. My guess is if it gets up there, I'm going to look for a couple of things to fade. And one of them might be the weakest or second weakest, because Micron's down 3%, the second weakest chip name out there, which would be Intel. It's at 35. If it sniffs VWAP, I like VWAP here. I like VWAP on Intel. It's still a bit of a push away from that.
Yeah, I mean, so again, big volume spike there. Let's just see what winds up happening now because you're right back up to those highs again. So our trigger out for Tesla is right here, right now. So we took a little bit of advantage. We only have 70% left, but still very close to getting stopped out now of Tesla, of the final piece up here at 151. And there it goes. We are now out of that name as those shorts not paying out. Our short on AMD is still fine for now. But here it comes. Stop on this one. I was giving it up to 55.50, which is right here. So we did take some out, 20 or 30%. Now we'll wait right there, 155. I'm still there, so I'm still here to get more shares short. So yeah, 155.20 or so. Let's take a little piece now, get more shares, because I mean, we've been hitting the short, and we've really liked it today. So we'll keep doing that on AMD. Let's just sort of butter our bread with this one. Because Tesla took off there. Amazon is still fine, but it did take off there. We got some out, and then we had to get it right back into that same level again. So unless we're seeing some news, which I'm not, I don't know. Are we just getting sort of whipped around a little bit? Like we're well under VWAP, so there's the stop again. So yeah, we could probably again get back in some of these names. I feel like
Now I just feel getting whipped around.
That's what I mean. Like we're just getting whipped around.
There's
now,
news about
so-
Taylor Swift 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I saw that. But that's nothing. That's just that she's making.
Well, the timing was right.
Yeah.
They kind of.
But it's not news. About
No,
Taylor.
it's not news. It's
just a story.
It's just a story came across the wire about Taylor Swift. So.
It was just that she drops at midnight. She made 200 million off her last album, plus 14 trillion off of her latest tour.
But it's like you said. Well, in my household, my daughter likes Olivia Rodrigo much better. She doesn't know that she likes Olivia Rodrigo better. She just likes her songs better without knowing it. That's the best way to put it. Like if I say Taylor Swift to my daughter, she'll lose her mind because like the mini pop kids or whatever concert we went to, like they ended it with Taylor Swift, so all the kids could lose their minds. But she actually likes Olivia's songs much better. She'll jam to those much more, and to each their own. I think that's fine. Ramin's telling me,
I tried.
don't take my kids, don't take her to an Olivia Rodrigo. Why would I not take her to that concert? I'm just asking.
I couldn't afford it.
I don't even know what it costs. Is it?
Man, we did it on the air, man.
No, that was something else, wasn't
No,
it?
that was.
Oh, that was Olivia. Okay, never mind then. If that was her, no. AV's like, oh, did you just call? We could go to the highs. I mean, it was a big volume reversals. Oh, I'm on Spotify. Oh, that's right, because we're talking about the Taylor Swift news. That's my bad. No, it was a big volume reversal, and it looked like something was up, and the momentum changed. So I didn't reload Tesla. I'm still in Micron. I'm not going to go a third time, but I'd still short something weak. Like I'll still short this off of VWAP. I just think it kind of temporarily changed my opinion. Like I want to see what happens when the futures make their next leg up here. Like do we take out 17.6, which is like the morning, yesterday's lows, kind of an afternoon resistance level. If it does, then it's going to try and march green, and then I got to be patient if I'm looking for even more shorts. I'm in Google off of VWAP because that's a setup. Like weak stocks in the afternoon, short them to VWAP. If you can, if you like it, if you still like it. Strong stocks, long them off of VWAP. It's the most simple thing, and I feel like if you keep it really simple, it ends up obvious. That said, I'm getting out of this thing at the top because the bear in me, overall trend, says I see a triple top, the market's at resistance, kind of take it and run. As if we're going to turn here off of these lower highs, then I might just grab that because we're testing that 17.6 resistance as we speak.
Okay, 155. I'm just digging into everything short now because we're just gonna see. Like I said, we could sit here and ho-hum stuff, but like honestly, I just want to get in right now. We'll just take some more short here in AMD. So that's just what we did. Let's go. Let's hit the sirens off here one more time as we're back into the short. And let's just see if it goes. I mean, I want to be here for it. So if we wind up losing on it, we wind up losing. I don't know. I'm not expecting to lose. So we'll see if we can get this back in right now. Here comes AMD. We just took some more refills up there. As you can see, let's go, man. Let's just keep this going. Good short there. We are back into Amazon as well. We played a little bit of a pop there, but unfortunately it didn't get all the way up into 180. I want to short into 180 before we really load everything up here on Amazon. We just got stopped out of a little bit of shares there. But then at the same time, I want to play off this 179.80 level. So, this may not work. We're down 1% here today. I feel like we've got the 200 period. We've got this little level there of potential resistance. I just say potential because the market did a couple moves there that I was not expecting. But again, it only went to the, afternoon high of 17,600. So it's kind of like, okay. Here's AMD, 20 cents in the money. Be confident with your trades. We talked about this. This is sticky note 1.
Exactly. I mean, stick to it. Like at the end of the day, Google looked strong, but I see it slowing down at the high of the day. I'm getting out. Just take the 50-cent win. If that's the range in the afternoon, take it, ring the register, or do whatever it is that you do, and then move on to the next. Micron managed to hold the 113, so we don't have to get out of that one because it never really broke higher. We took it twice. Even if I wanted to reload a third time on that up move, it actually didn't get there, so it wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have gotten Micron for a third reload. So I think that's back in the pocket. We took a lower high. I wasn't willing to take another lower high. I would have probably needed a stronger move up, but we'll look for the low of the day at 112 on that name. Ricardo, DJT apparently is still making fresh highs. Yeah, okay. Okay, DJT, do your thing. 23% to the upside. As I said, I'm not chasing this move. You know what? It's very, very thinly traded. I feel like it's actually more thin and more dark pools now than it was. Like when it was powering to the upside, like it just felt like there was more. Real buyers isn't the way to explain it, but there was more like lit buyers you would see go in there bidding it up when it was making these moves early, and that's reflected by the amount of volume in the morning move. This move is on much lighter volume, which I think makes it a little bit more dangerous, but then I've been wrong about this for $4 when I got out. So good luck to you there. Intel might not give us that VWAP retracement. Look at it at 35. So if the futures are resisting 17.6 and Intel's resisting 35 at the same time, then the next push up to 17.6 on the futures, I'll look to see if I can't short Intel off this level, maybe give it back into that. Not the low. This isn't the local high. But this would be like the afternoon high, like right after, like 1:30. Made a wick here on the last big bounce on volume. That was at 35.10. So one push up in the futures, and I'd probably take a shot at this in front of 35.10.
Intel, yeah, good short there. Yeah, stick with that, I feel like, because my AMD is starting to go as well. So maybe these chip names are something that we can finally agree that with the market that we want to get to the downside now. So that's what we're going to try to do. Play some downside pressure right now in AMD. So here we go. Nice move, man. Pressure bust pipes. And right now we're going to see if we can bust out through on AMD. I was waiting at 154.50 there. That didn't fill. So we'll go to 59 now and see if that comes through. So that's something that I'm going to be looking
69.
at. There it is. Yes, sir. Let's go and see if we can have a little bit of diamond hands. So far, we haven't had too many, as there hasn't been like a huge dramatic move yet down, I don't think, in anything. So we'll hold it out. It's still an hour. Wow. It's still 44 minutes to go. And maybe Amazon doesn't want to, but we took a one fill there at 30. Hopefully it comes back down. That's the one that I'm sort of resting on right now, would be AMZN. So that's what I'm going to wait for. Hopefully that pulls. I mean, AMD really is pulling. This is going to be a big stock today for me. So I'm just letting people know that. So all these trades that we've made today on AMD is the one for me. So we did get, you are the one for me, AMD. We got stopped out right there. Yeah. We got stopped out one time right there, and then that was it. So far so good there, and you do have to have your outs, when appropriate. And here we go. What puts a smile on this guy's face? Hopefully a down market. Let's see what happens right now if this market wants to get in here into the close. Let's see if we can, finish at or near those bottoms would be good for me. But
if I was making a top 25 list of all my favorite songs of all time, you're the one. SWV probably makes that list. That was one of those groups. I saw them live. Oh God, you know what? It was a while ago. I don't need to say how long ago it was. It was a very, very, very long time ago. I was a young trader at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're fooling anybody by pretending that we're young.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I know. Most of you are like, who in the heck is SWV? And I can't even think of what's a group that I could say that would be comparable for them, because I can't even think
right
of it.
now?
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's not really any groups anymore.
It's not a group, like back in the day, so back when I was younger or when we were younger, I was in high school, it was about groups. Like it wasn't really most
in the
solos.
90s.
In the 90s, all big groups. And that was fantastic. I mean, there was a lot of really good ones. Old school, baby. CGC is winning today, the Florida vote. Why are we not? I know why, because we're shorting chip names. But yeah, the weed names are strong. It's just a matter of whether you see a trade in this or not. And to me, when I look up here, I don't see any trade setups that I like. Bounce off, VWAP's gone. Short off the top, no, I'm not going to be shorting this name. There's probably way other, better things you could do. It's at a good level. If it were to fail break 840, 850, get up here to 850, which is that level over there, fail 850, and then maybe try a retracement. That would be something, but I don't really see much that we can do here. TLC, I've already said, literally in junior high, TLC was the jam as well, but then TLC would be giving you an example that is also a very old group. I'm trying to give an example that would be contemporary for anybody out there. Danity Kane, I don't know about that. Cheetah Girls, oh God. Yeah. But don't worry about how old we are, roundtable experience. We're experienced roundtable experience. That's how I like to think of it.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah. You're pretty old.
All right, Tesla. Are you still in Tesla?
No.
So Tesla, all of a sudden, Tesla's on this pullback is holding VWAP. And I can't help but notice that if you pull out this 3-minute chart, which you don't have to because I'm already showing the whole day. So there's a bottom, there's a higher low. The next consolidation is another higher low and a higher low and a higher low. Like suddenly Tesla is kind of trending up. So like it's like, should I just be looking long on Tesla? I would much rather get Google at VWAP, but Tesla, I'm going to stay away from Tesla because I keep thinking I want to short it and it's making higher lows. But it does look like it's in a bit of an upward trend. I think you got to respect that at least a little bit there on TSLA. So I'll stick with Micron. I assume we're just not getting Intel, I guess. Intel's just not moving.
There's just not
Look at
much
this.
happening. I know. I mean,
Yeah, I'm going to cancel that order. No, Intel has. Yeah, you know, there's no point. Like Intel is, if it pops up here and makes a move outside of the range, I should let that move play out because either you're trading inside of the range when it's not going anywhere, or when it breaks the range, you be patient with that range break. Like there's no point sitting 4 cents above this range. When it busts through, it might start running against me, and then I want the short at 20s. So we should really be reevaluating. If it's not moving, back off, wait for something to happen. Anything you guys want us to look at, let us know. You got any questions? We got about 30 minutes until the imbalances drop. I want to see the early look because I feel like when you have all these chip names flying around there, we got Friday tomorrow, TSM's going nuts, Netflix reports aftermarket. That's a biggie, by the way. There could be some numbers at the close. Oh, Netflix gave it all up today. Damn. Netflix was.
That's the report be brewing.
Yeah, well, it's
Netflix.
Netflix was one of the strongest names for half of the day. I look back at it now, and now you're right back at the 50 period on the daily. Right. Oh goodness, if 600. Yeah, I mean you already wanted to stick around for the aftermarket show, but if Netflix loses 600, Netflix has had 25. I'm not saying it's going down 25, 35, 30%, but it's had those moves, and especially when it's on a support level like that. Like it is flat bottom and everything at 600. Like that would be wild. 200 period's so far away though. It's not even. It's not in stink bill. It's not like stink bid would be 25% right at the 200 period moving average. How wild would that be? Like you stink bid 485 today. Yeah. And then it gets smacked at about 412. Well, I don't know when they report.
I don't know when they report.
412. Let's just say.
Find that out.
Let's just say 412. You get that stink bid. You wake up Friday morning, throw it into the offer at the open, and it's at 520, collect 10%. But that's a 25% move down. I feel like that's pretty unlikely. Although I could check out what the implied move is. I haven't done that.
So yesterday on the recap show, we had Brian Shannon, not yesterday, Tuesday. We were filming the podcast with the last recap show. Today we will have Miss Danielle Shay. Let's go.
Nice.
We have Miss Danielle Shay. Let's go.
What up? You guys aren't in sync right now.
We got Miss Danielle Shay. Let's go.
Do it again. Oh, Ramin.
All right. That's okay. I mean, you can't look. I unfazed, baby.
She's done. Like Ramin,
I'm unfazed.
Ramin is having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Yeah. So look at this. We had Brian Shannon on yesterday. And we had talked about this $600 level. The thing about it is, as you could see, it was great, and it was Tuesday. You have the RSI divergence pretty severe here. Brendan and I also talked about some of these names, but I just put an anchored VWAP at that low of 350. That does go all the way back to, again, those October bottoms, and it's sitting right here at 5 bills. So whether or not, let's get down, Amazon. Let's get down to business. Tiesto. There we go. Bang. Yeah, that is a banger. That's a current banger. I think that's old though. My daughter loves that song. That's like one of her warm-up songs. All right, so right there, we have to listen to the car all the time. 592. That's not going to come into play. It's going to be pretty violent one way or the other. So, anyways, I just want to know that is where the anchored VWAP is, and then even if you drop another anchor right at the gap level, which is another thing that you'd want to do. I don't know why it started down there, but you're going to come into this area no matter what, 570, 580 for a potential bounce zone there for Netflix, but we are now
I see expected move 8%.
8%, okay. We are now 50 cents, man, in the money as, yes, sir, the Bears keep riding today.
That's an odd
and there it goes, AMD, hopefully bringing it in to the bottom side of it. I mean, there it is. There's VWAP, there's the 200, there's the push down. It's advanced micro devices. And I did say Danielle Shay, Louisa.
Micron is exactly 50 cents.
Has
as
she told you
well,
something else?
Which is weird. But that's just a coincidence. I mean, they're both pulling back.
No, maybe she's not on. Let me
That
message her.
8%, I feel like the 8% expected move on Netflix, I don't know, man. If there was like an over-under on what the actual, like what is it?
Oh, what did it say, 8%?
Well, 7.8%.
Over.
I think it's going to be more volatile than
Yep.
7.8%
Easily,
on
I think.
Netflix. That feels light given where it's trading and what the market is doing. I mean, come on. And then, by the way, don't even sleep on.
Samesies.
Don't sleep on Disney. I don't know why that escapes me.
They're reporting? Oh my
No,
God.
no. Just sympathy to Netflix.
Oh my God, I forgot. I got to do this whole run.
Come on, baby. Come on.
All right.
Come on, chart.
Market
There you go. Disney is another name. Like, obviously, it's on sympathy, but check out the consolidation off the 200-period moving average, that 112, 113. It is a $2 range, 112 bottom, 114 top, pretty much the entire week. I mean, Monday the body of the candle is 114. It was a wick to the high side, but it's a $2 tight range right at the 50 period on sympathy to Netflix after market tonight. So if Netflix were to drop, the 112 gets taken out, I think, on Disney, and then maybe you drop into the support here, 105, 106. So this should be on our radars tomorrow. Like if you don't like trading, like trading Netflix, which a lot of people don't, then Disney could be your cup of tea. So back over to Micron. If we get the low of the day, I'm taking it. It's now 325. Like it's getting late enough that if this sees the 112 even, I'm good with that. Like you're getting to the end of the day. We didn't get a reload on the bid of Google. Didn't get a reload at VWAP on Intel. So not a lot set up. The only thing we reloaded was Micron, and we'll grab it at 112 if we can. It'll be less than $1 because I got 90 short and I'm bidding in front of 12 even. So it'll be like 90 cent, 85 cent win if we get it. So there's not that much time left in the day, but Shefali Tate, you were so accurate on the coin trade today. You made $7 in the money. I didn't. Congratulations to you. That's not the first time that I've actually had some ideas for Coinbase and then traded a whole bunch of chip names and did not trade a single crypto name today. But we kind of went over this one, that this is the resistance, so you kind of let it, like if you let it break the resistance level and take the reversal trade, the first move was good, the retest of the high was even better, and it's just a matter of Coinbase allowing it to get to the price, try to wick the top. If you just sit there at the actual consolidation level from the previous high, that doesn't work in Coinbase. Like you let it get to that high, and then when it breaks it, it's the wick above that works on coin when everybody's getting stopped out. And I learned that lesson by getting stopped out. You know, usually that's how it works. Like you realize the timing of how you execute the trade by having a few of them that don't work. You get the level right, and then you work on the execution strategy after by refining it. So congratulations to you for getting it. But you know, as I said, the only person that actually remembered to trade crypto today was Adara, and there were plenty of great opportunities. I mean, IBIT, we talked about this yesterday. IBIT is a great trading vehicle. You can just trade Bitcoin directly with the ETFs, and it was a good technical trade as well. So, you know, you pick your poison and do what you do. LM seems to like Palantir's chart. I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of the Palantir chart as it is right now, but I think it's giving you some chances. Why does this not load? I think it's giving you some chances to maybe give a dip into some really good levels. Like that hammer candle down is good if it breaks out the top. Like I love liquidity bottoms for longs if it then breaks out the high. When it rejects and then starts to close back under, I'm never really a fan of that. I think that's usually a bearish looking chart. But look how good the stock has been at 15. I feel like that would be a gift if you could get it. Where's my 200 period? It'll load eventually. The 200 period on, come on, baby. There you go. The 200 period's all the way up at 18.6, but the support down here has been up to 15.16. And then look at 13.5 on Palantir. When stocks give you gifts like this, like look at the support level. If you ever see something like that, Ford was good at 11, but then it's a different stock. You just got to take advantage of it when you can.
Oh man, I'm just trying to be as patient as I can right now with trading because I'm starting to lose patience. The market's not doing anything, so we have to just calm down and wait because we just reshorted again there, and then like just as we reshort in the same candle, we get that's 50s down to 30s, so that's 20 cents right there. You know, like I'm thinking like, okay, here we go. Like, you know, we're finally gonna break, and then it just comes right back up again, and then comes right back in again. So, you know, it's to sit here and get stopped out like that, and then to reshort, and then to take little pieces. This is all net, like everything. This is good. This was good off the 50, but now that we're above the 50, it's not wanting to get below it. Amazon right now in a little bit of trouble, definitely trying to figure itself out. It looks like it wants to barcode. So I don't like sitting around here like waiting for something to break. I would much rather it just break itself, but I don't like, unless this market decides to really lose the 50, I don't know. I mean, we've already called, you know, we came back on air, we were at the low of the day, we retested the low of the day. You know, the short's been fine. It's just right now, I don't know if there's a catalyst here heading into the close that would really tank this market, or not tank it, but at least keep it where it is. We could always get little geopolitical stories that get dropped. We don't necessarily trade against those, but I don't know which way those would come. So
I always wait till Friday for some of them.
Yeah, and then tomorrow is Friday. It's been you know, quite an interesting week, needless to say. Volatility definitely increasing this week. So we could see something tomorrow. Netflix right now looking at 610. I mean, maybe this rallies in as we get ready for their earnings report. And we do have the earnings board ready. So let's go have a quick look to see what else maybe we could look at here. Oh, it is not, okay, it is, okay. Ramin is too busy denying the Danielle Shay comments. Oh yeah, but
What are you guys doing tonight? As we stall for us to get the earnings board.
Me? What do you mean?
No, the family. Well.
Oh, we have 3 events. So we have chess, baseball, and hockey.
Did you figure out how you're getting the board?
Yeah, I'm just taking him. I'm just taking him myself because
There we go.
it will work
I was
out.
just stalling.
Yeah, see, there's anything.
Western Alliance.
Yeah, WAL. I have that on the board.
Yeah.
And I have ISRG. So Intuitive Surgical is actually a very, very big market cap. It's about $140 billion. So just a little under Netflix. And then tomorrow is really when it starts. I mean, you're going to get a lot of big names tomorrow, including American Express, and then Procter, Regions Financial.
Ooh, Wile E. Coyote in the house with Acme. I have no idea. I don't even know what that company is, but Acme United Corporation. I feel like, whatever. Like it's just like they should. Like you gotta have that more prominent. You gotta have the Acme stand out, just so that people like myself be like, ooh, cool, Acme.
Yeah.
But now I'm not even bothering to look it up. Procter's like a bellwether. It might tell you a little bit about the consumer there, and whether or not they're able to pass on their costs is going to be the big one. But yeah, like you said, Netflix is a biggie, Western Alliance, and Intuitive. What Intuitive, the short float on that is, I just want to double check it for myself because I feel like that's one of those. Intuitive, that's ITU, Neil. And it's surgical. Intuitive Machines, I always forget about that. Not much of a short float on Intuitive Surgical, so maybe it's not that kind of a name. It's Intuitive Machines that has one. It is 330. The only imbalance of any significance on the early look is General Motors 2.7. That's a buy, kind of out of nowhere. Visa's 1.5 million to sell, but Visa pairs off literally every single time. We tend to not even care about imbalances on Visa. This is an early look sell. MDC is being bought for cash. If it moves 1 cent, that will be exciting. So yeah, General Motors is pretty much the one. And did it move? Did it move? Did it move? Did it move?
General Motors, you say.
Petra.
Ford, again, Ford, the same stock that is at the same price. So if you just like, you know, you invested some money in 1994 and you said, you know what, I'm going to pick a company to do it. And it was such a great American company. I'm going to invest in Ford. And then you woke up here and you realize that the market is up on average 11% per year. So you're trying to compound all the math. And then you open up your account and you realize you're down. I mean, okay. All right, so I got to have a big shout out right now. Yo, what's up, Miss Danielle Shay?
She is.
She is here and she is in the chat. I tried to slide into her DMs, but she's here on the chat. So shout out to that. Miss Danielle Shay will be joining me when we will cover Netflix. We will cover Microsoft. She's talked about liking Microsoft into the print. So we'll have a talk with her all about that. So thank you, Miss Danielle Shay, coming on the recap show. So that makes me happy. And right now, I'm not super happy with the market because it's putting me to sleep. It is 3:30 right now. We need to find, I mean, we don't need to do anything. So that's one thing. I'm just gonna wait to see if anything goes around and starts hitting some levels. I just see that, hey, shout out to Miss Danielle one more time, because first of all, we nailed the long. She nailed this long through 20. You know, that one time when it just, if I could find the chart, I feel like, how long have I been doing the market recap show? Like, I mean, that 20, so it was definitely, I'm gonna say, we were doing the recap show definitely back here, like was it last summer? Like this break of 20, boom, right there to the upside. And then shout out to everybody that ran this short with me. We actually took this, nicely done back in. We got the covers in between 40 and 42, but look what's happened to a firm. Buy now and pay never, maybe back into the 200 period. If you're buying this one, it's not a bad spot right here. And you know what, looking at a firm, it just hit a scanner, but I don't really know why.
You know what's weird?
What?
I have a script stop order on a firm.
That just triggered?
No, I have it in there. Usually I put that in if I intended to trade it. I'm like, I'm looking at it. It's like I put a stop order at 32 in the middle of the day and then didn't trade the stock. Ooh. And I already know what my intention was. Like I look back, I was just canceling. I got some orders out there, like stop orders that are completely useless at this point because they've traded so far away from the price. But looking back at it, it's like there's 31.8. Then you can see it at VWAP, tries to get above VWAP and fails. And then when it came back up and tested VWAP, I probably said, hey, let's put a stop at 32 and find a short under VWAP. And then I just never did. So forgetful Neil, a firm maybe up that 1%. When do they report? I just feel like when you're in the earnings season right now, like you want to have an idea. Oh, May 8th. Okay, so you got some time. Yeah, you got some serious time for a firm. Like a lot can happen on a firm off that 200 period. Like you give this thing 3 weeks and it could drop $10, it could run $10 higher. But the 200 period does seem like a good bouncing spot. Though if it was like 1 or 2 days till earnings, that would be a different story. Because then all of a sudden you have that massive gap risk, which is, you go long and you say, oh, I'm gonna go long off the 200 period and I'm gonna have a stop 20%. Well, you could have a stop at 20%, and if it reports, that could be completely meaningless. I just got trailed out of Micron, so that means it must have gone back up through 112.5. I'll try to get back in just above 113, and we'll go to Adara.
Brought to you by Trade Ideas. Michael Noss and his team over there, real-time scanning and alerting, used in our desk by many of our traders every single day. And you can see what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Just check out the link in the description, and you can get 20% off.
Thank you very much there, Adara.
I have the same. I have the same. I got 99 problems, and the short rate now is one. I'm going to give AMD to one. AMD is my #1 P&L stock, and I'm not going to give back. Like, if and when we get stopped out, and I'm going to talk about this trade, we'll probably give back about maybe 15% of what we've made today. And this is just one last run into this level. So let's see if we can hold out for AMD here at 155.50. So it's kind of been the top. You can see that that was the shelf. We broke it. It fell back in. I like the trade here. Let's just see if it will hold. I'm going to take some more. We just missed a reload there short. I was trying, or not a reload, an average in. 155.20. I don't know. We must have just missed it. But I was sitting there to get that, so I don't know what happened. That would have been nice to grab that short, but we do not have it. The other position right now that I'm trying to work off of, you could see Amazon. And I'm not trying to do this all like frivolously. That's a pretty good word. 180. So we talked about that. There's 179.80. This is the level that I don't think we break today, so I'm trying to go short. We've done well to go short. It's just we got one stop out there, and then as I said, we take it all the way to the top. We're still waiting for a little bit more in and around this level to trust out for 180. And the reason why I do this, again, the market right now is underneath. We're under VWAP, we're under the 50 period, we're under the 200. We keep on barcoding here. We're red on the day, down 0.5%. This is the NQ. I believe, as we continue to go down, this pattern still exists. You have a little bit, we can,
That's still a weak market.
Yeah, I don't really draw lines here, but we'll try to do that right now. If you just go whoa, like this.
Here we go.
There we go. So we're kind of going into this. You know, we got a top there. We got a top here. We're just coming into it right now. So if we could break above maybe the 17.58, you know, and kind of buck this trend, then obviously that's going to be out. But I'm trying to get shorts up there. So let's just wait to see what happens. For now, it's the market, and it's moving around.
Yes. And when you draw that trend line, when I was telling the story about how when I started out,
Yep.
and I was trading Oracle, AMAT, Microsoft, Cisco, I think were the 4 stocks that I traded when I first started trading.
Yep.
And it was like I would draw that trend line, but then I'd have the one from before and the one from before, and I would leave all of them up like I was somehow, boom,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And you
scalp
just get
off of every
confused,
single
right?
one of these. And then all you were doing was just paying fees and getting out for like 1 cent hits. It was so silly. It's so easy to overtrade if you have too many things going on in your charts, but it's also so easy to head on over to Adara at the screen.
Lots of big movers on the S&P 500 that we haven't discussed as much today, a lot of which are going to be earnings related here. So we do have Elevance Health, ELV up about 4%, giving UNH a nice bounce as well, posting an earnings beat in terms of earnings per sale, but a slight sales miss, also projecting higher than expected earnings per share for full fiscal year 2024. So nice look here for ELV and a lot of those other health services names. EL here, Estee Lauder getting a boost up almost 5% after L'Oreal reported positive earnings. So nice look here for EL and some of these other makeup related names. Last but not least, we have CF Industries. CF is the ticker for this one, up about 3%, announcing after close yesterday a joint development with JERA to develop some carbon ammonia production capacity in the U.S. So nice look here for CF as well. Lots of S&P 500 names moving today, guys.
All right. Thank you, Adara. You got to do that
thank
more
you,
often
Adara.
because the market's starting to go down.
I actually love that look. I mean, when you get that board out there, like obviously we're trading, so we're going to show you what we're showing, and it's a lot of chip names, but it's always good to give an idea what else is happening in the markets. I just jumped in front of 35.10 on Intel. It was a pump up in the market, or kind of a pump up in the market, and it resisted that 35.10 level, so I jumped in at 6s. But this will be a tight stop because we're still underneath VWAP by a lot, and it's 341, so we are running out of time for some bigger moves out there as well. Why y'all call out tickers that ain't moving? Sometimes, and just to shout to people in the chat, like Saskatchewan, sometimes people want to ask about names that are maybe like a long-term trade or your trend trade. Everyone has different time horizons. And I know we'll usually say, hey, I don't see a day trade here, but it's fine. Like everyone's looking at something different, and which is perfectly okay. We have options traders and crypto traders, and it's a great community out here. Some are only swing traders. Some people only trade the futures, like Dan in the chat. So everybody's welcome. It's all good. Just don't spam symbols, but you can ask about anything, and if we have the time, we can go over it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll always talk about different stocks as well, as you guys know. I'm just talking my own book right now because I'm in these trades, trying to give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking, because often that's what it's about. It's about the education, and it's like, at least if part of me does it for myself. I mean, it's talking through trades and trying to figure out, you know, why do we like that long? Why do we like that short? And then I'm justifying it to you, which is, again, justifying it to me, and then we can just move on and try to, you know, together find the best trades and then go over on the chat and be like, oh, you know, yeah, Palantir is setting up the way I like it, because maybe you guys know of some of the setups that we do prefer. All right, it doesn't matter anyways. So there it is. So we get out boom, boom, boom on AMD. We are getting lighter on some of these trades as we head into the close. I mean, that's part of the whole thing here. It's 342 at 3. Yeah, I mean, that screen is very good too. But at, we have Adara's screen, I believe. It's all good. I like to see that. That is something that we will use on the market recap shows again as well. Yeah, it's all good, don't worry. I like that look. I think that look is cool. It's enough of me and more of that. But, all right, so AMD, I'm still using that 155.50 area. And with only 7 minutes to go, we do have the imbalances coming out. And this will definitely change the direction of many names, including NASDAQ names. Although we only have written on here New York names, these NASDAQ ones are old.
From the morning.
Yeah, they're from the morning. So you can see the time on there. So right now, GM looks like a buy, Visa looks like a sell, Procter with earnings looks like a buy. So that's something important there. We can see maybe what that's doing. Is that right? Up point? Yeah, look at this. Look at Procter into earnings, right? So I've been wrong. The market's obviously going up right now. So again, we did cover some trades, but we are still in those same ones. I hope the market doesn't go up, but we've already sort of identified the amount of money that we will give back if this does go. And the market just did not exactly what we thought, or I'd be long, but we did come back into this level. We're not scared. We have our plan, and we're just gonna, hope that our stops don't get hit. But that's fine. I mean, we're 20 cents out on Amazon. I'm not gonna sit here and, wave the white flag here.
Yeah, well, I just took out that 5-cent move on Intel. I said it would be a tight stop in there, and if it got to VWAP, that's a different trade. So if we come to the chart, just to show you guys, it came into this level. We decided it came up here, kind of stalled out in 8s, came back down. I got the 6s. Like the second I was in position, it starts going right back up. And maybe that's a wick out, but at 344, I'm not going to take anything. I think the better short, obviously the better shorts are when you find a defined level. Right up here was good. That 36 was good. I just wanted to note that there was a volume spike through the high of the day on Reddit I don't know what caused this spike, but this is the biggest volume. It just did the biggest volume candle of the day on Reddit randomly at 340 and took a fresh high back into 42. You might wonder why 42 matters other than the fact that it's the meaning of life. But 42 has been significant. That was when it broke its IPO low on volume, it supported 42 for 2 days. It then flushed and then resisted 42. So 42 has become the level du jour on Reddit. Would be interesting to see it break this out. I'm not taking a break at 345, but tomorrow, if for some reason it's hanging lower, I don't mind that on Reddit. 7% move for it, but remember, it just made fresh lows this morning.
Okay, now we're 20 cents in the money now. On AMD as we just get that short. We talked about the prices that we like. Here it comes back in. Let's go, man. We're bidding 90s now to see if we could take 30 more cents on AMD. So this is why we talked about trying to figure out what trades we liked, why we liked them, and then the end result being this, hopefully. Okay, now we're really starting to plant some. If Danielle, if you're still in here, in your backyard there, you plant some purple flowers right there. So you go green, 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 short right there. So let's see. We'll get another piece out here at 90. It just hit that bid. So we get a piece out there. Now I am bidding 60s on this, but we're running into the 50 period. We'll take that out every time. And then right there is 60. Okay, we should bid 70s then. Ahead of the 200 period. Let's just bid something out there. Now we have a 70 and a 60 in there somewhere. Hopefully going to the downside. And then what else is working for us right now is hopefully Amazon. We did not get that 80 fill. It was pretty close. It got up to 70s. So we'll put another little bit here. We just missed. If we got our 80 fill right now, I would be cashing this all out. Okay, but we didn't. The 80 fill is a much bigger size fill. So let's go over to Adara and see if Amazon does get back up there and give us that.
New high of days here as we head into the close for BNTC Benetech. This one trading higher after announcing a $40 million oversubscribed private placement financing. Also some positive treatment data. Also worth noting, though, they do have a float of about 2.42 million shares. So pretty small float, bringing BNTC to the upside here, guys.
Down with BNTC. Tesla's coming back. Nvidia, this will be good for the shorts. Nvidia just lost 850 again, for what it's worth. This was a stronger looking stock than some of the other chip names. You've seen a bunch of them kind of off of those lows, but back underneath 850. We're right to that 340. Yeah, we're 348. Probably, unless there's something on the imbalances, now that I just got wicked out of Intel, Micron's not anywhere near the entry that I liked, which is just above 113. It's underneath that still. I probably don't put anything new on, but I will have eyes on Nvidia. Obviously, Netflix. Oscar's like, are you ready for Netflix?
He's asking you if I am ready?
Well, you were busy. You were in the moment of the show.
If I'm breathing, I'm pretty much ready. So Netflix, we're ready.
I think 12.5%, and I'm just sort of throwing that out there because 25% was the current 50 period to the 200 period moving average.
There's some Nordstrom.
Pretty much exactly. Here. And then, so half of that would be 12.5% Nordstrom's. Probably buyout rumor, maybe?
There's something about, it is spiking up. It did get to $20 there on Nordstrom. And then Macy's, so throw to Adara? Okay.
Yeah, so some news on Nordstrom here. I did see that pop and took a look. Wall Street Journal reporting that the Nordstrom family is weighing taking the company private. So private rumors of going private here, as reported by Wall Street Journal, bringing Nordstrom to the upside. Lots of social media attention for this one as well, and an 11% short float, guys.
Yeah, my wife is very, very upset at Nordstrom's. So because they closed all their Canadian locations.
Which everybody liked.
So
That was a weird one.
yeah.
Everybody was basically really happy with it, and it still somehow didn't work out for them.
I don't know. I was in that place in Sherway a lot. It wasn't super packed. But I don't know. They have Nordstrom. They have an off rack. I don't know what it's called.
Nordstrom Rack.
Nordstrom Rack.
I think it's just called
There's
Rack.
off Fifth for Saks Fifth Avenue.
I guess it's just like my wife and like her work friends all liked it, but you didn't hear bad. I didn't hear bad things from anybody that went. But
And
for
my wife
some
was also
reason,
mad
it just
about
didn't
Target when they
work
left.
out. Target was the same thing. But sometimes it's different, man. Like people, when I was in
He's not
Florida,
generally that mad at most things. So.
people love Target in the States.
Yeah,
Nordstrom's.
we loved it here. But.
I'm not chasing that move. I will warn everybody.
Oh, 10 seconds.
If you're 10 seconds in bounces, if you're trading Nordstrom's, we've seen when there's deal rumors, sometimes I've seen them halt the stock, and then there'll be halt news pending if there is something there. When it's late in the day, there is that risk. Just be careful. 10 minutes to go, which means imbalances. TLT is the biggest at 5 million. Enbridge is a sell, 1.8. That MDC with the buyout doesn't matter. Visa, we knew 1.5. Apple, 1.2 million to the buy side. Intel, 1 million to the buy side. Microsoft, 700,000 buy. So it's got to be 1.5 billion, the overall number to buy. And then that's New York. So it probably doesn't include some of those NASDAQ names, mostly to the buy side. The biggest name will pair off. That's GM at 3 million. TLT, I have yet to see that matter. Big imbalances have not really done anything for TLT. I haven't seen it be useful. Because 5 million is a lot, even for how much it trades. So GM, small movement, not a heck of a lot. Apple, as we said, had that imbalance as well to the upside. Small, I mean, a very small move up there on Apple. Not much of anything.
Yeah, we were able to take advantage of AMD. I don't even know what AMD came out as. I'm assuming everything's a buy. Everything's pretty much a buy there, 1.5 billion. That's a pretty good number. And that's excluding NASDAQ names. So there it is. So we were able to get out at the 50 period on AMD. That's kind of what I was saying about trying to take advantage of that. So we did that right there and got out of that angle there. So we still have some shares on all these things. We're going to wait. We don't like to hold something into the. Did we find out what time Netflix reports? Because I mean, I do got to get over the. Huh?
Right at 4. That's not.
Right at 4. Okay, I better go over there and log in. I don't even know if the software over there is up to date, to be honest with you. But okay, here we go. AMD, nice push down to the downside, 155. Looking to print again. It's not pushing down by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of holding this, but we are trying to get off of that. Or sorry, we're still on Amazon. Amazon's my biggest worry, but there's AMD pushing back in. So we'll still stare at Amazon. I'm going to start to get some out as we fall back into the 50s here, just because it's going to be a positive stock for us, but I'm running out of time. Quite frankly. So if this falls back in, I am bidding more in the 40s. We do have the 50 period there. And then if it does go for a little bit of a drop down, then we'll probably just get the rest of these in the 30s, so on and so forth. But Amazon, I like the trade still. We're still in it against that high, but sometimes the imbalances do play evil tricks on you. So, all right, AMD, we're 30 cents in the money. We're starting to piece out of that one. It's going to be a profitable afternoon. We just wish it was more profitable. So that's, you know, not the end of the world to have those kind of problems, but it's not the greatest movements here. Like if AMD just tanked, then we would have been laughing. If Amazon, now we're laughing because now Amazon goes into the money. So it's going to be a good one here for Amazon, as we'll just ring the register at the end of the day finally for Amazon. We did get that 70-ish fill that we were waiting for. And now with the pullback in, give me a little more time, and I think that we can really do some damage here. But the market is pulling back a little bit for us. So that's been so far so good. 40 cents on AMD. Right now 20 on Amazon, and we'll look to, there it is, yes, and we'll look to take out some of this. There it goes. So this is the movement that we needed, man. Nice move now. 50 cents in the money on AMD, let's go. And then there it is right there, 50 cents in the money now on Amazon. I just wish, like I said, I wish there was a little more time in this market, but right now there isn't. Good end of the day. Yes, good end to the day. Wrong one, my guy. Good end of the day as the Bears come out to play one more time. So, yeah. Hope you guys had some of those.
Exactly, and it's a good end of the day. I took them all off. I look back, and at least the last thing I traded wouldn't have worked anyways. That's the way I look at it. Like the last thing I traded wouldn't have worked anyways. I would have had to wait till VWAP. It didn't quite get there. We didn't make the trade. We have like 1 minute to go. So I think some of the imbalances are going to flip at 355. Obviously, buy imbalances, and now we're headed to the downside. They're probably all going to pair off as we go on over to Adair last time.
Just some more details here with regards to that Nordstrom move up, JWN. So the Nordstrom family is considering taking the company private, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. So they've already actually, according to this report, formed a special board committee and actually gotten some bankers involved to consider a potential bid. So definitely considering going private in the works here, as reported by Wall Street Journal for JWN, guys.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if we're him or not, but AMD just hit 154.50. Like, you want to talk about, honestly, putting damage on a name today? AMD was everything and more today for me. So that was fantastic. And then, by the way, I mean, let's go. The two names that I wasted the last hour on talking to you guys about all wind up helping to pay some bills. So I couldn't be happier with that. We just talked all about the only trades we had. Amazon, we had Boeing, which is crazy because we got out of that too early. That was a good trade. We had AMD and we had Amazon. Other than that, we didn't have anything else this afternoon. We had, did we have Tesla? Yeah, we had Tesla there. That was a flat trade. I'm just looking at my net. So that was a flat trade. Nice bottom take there on Tesla. All right, I got to go and get ramped up for this. So I wish I could trade for you guys a little bit more. There's only 5 minutes left. Nice move down on everything. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. It's Amazon. It will be fantastic, and I'll have it for you.
Netflix. After the
It's
bell.
Netflix.
I know. Everyone knows what you meant. I was just whatever.
Except for myself.
We like to get it right. Yeah, the other thing that we were trading, we could have maybe taken a third swing at Micron. It's breaking lows. Remember, when we talked about this in the lesson of the day, Micron was weak the whole way. Like, you have stocks that are fighting highs, you have stocks that are weak. This is the reason why I was shorting this one in the afternoon. And whether or not it could have been much better, obviously it could have been. But truth be told, like, this stock just couldn't get off its schneid, and then we didn't even show you this. Part of the reason, at least I think that it was relatively weak, is look at the shelf that just broke on Micron with a couple of decent-sized gaps underneath. It just broke this shelf. It then broke a lower high, well, has a lower high to get to at 110, and then I guess the 100 level, the 50-period moving average. I wouldn't be surprised to see Micron, which doesn't report for a hot minute, down at that 100 level by the time that it does. The trend is your friend. You can, like, all of the shorts eventually work, but the most efficient one sometimes could be better. I know JWN is moving, but it looks to me like it's a lot of volume and a lot of pullback. There's no specific necessarily details just yet. So it looks like it's going to stay unhalted. Should be on the radars for tomorrow, but if there's some kind of an official announcement, you got to wait for those details. You never really know what's the premium going to be. Is it all cash? Like, all that kind of stuff has to play itself out. Like, Paramount's been in this game for a while, and you have no idea where it's going to go. Could be the same thing with Nordstrom, which didn't even break out of the range. So with 3 minutes in there, Netflix is going to be the biggie. It's not the only thing. Intuitive is going to be reporting as well. You've got Southwest Bancorp is going to be reporting as well. Tomorrow morning you got Procter. But I feel like Netflix is going to be the Don Data. 12.5%. It's kind of like a lazy mathematical guess in terms of the percentage move, just because I think it splits it in the middle. If you lose the 50 period, like, it's such a clean move to the 200 period that's 25% down, so you cut that in half, and I think you might find some support. And that's if they miss. They don't have to miss. I'm just talking about if they were to miss. Oscar, TSM, yikes. Remember how this day started? This day started with Taiwan Semi down on earnings with disappointment for some of their growth, but every single chip name actually gapping higher. And that's why I came in bearish on the chips, and that was a battle in the morning. Sean came in bearish on the chips. I know a lot of other traders that came in bearish on the chips because of this. It just took some time to play out. You had to be patient, as they were everything was gaining from yesterday. But if you look at when everything turned, if the reason for shorting was when TSM was down, right about 11 o'clock, TSM made a wick high and trended down. If at that point, when TSM turned, you took shorts in all of the chips that you liked, every single one of them was a winner. And so that's it's kind of a lesson. Like if your reason for getting into the trade or your catalyst, let's just say, for getting in started with TSM, then once TSM looked like it was turning, you were pretty good on just about every single chip name from then until the close. Reddit's still moving, K-Dub? No, it's really? Not really. It's still underneath 42. I wrote down 42 on Reddit here because that's a big level. I mean, it's an IPO. There's not a lot of big levels out there for it, and it was a big one on the 15-minute, so it's still holding the consolidation. I'm kind of hoping we get a chance to trade off of that level tomorrow. It would be a good squeeze zone. It would also be a good resistance short zone, but you can't know until we see it in tomorrow's trade. So I have it marked off. We didn't trade it today. We're trading DJT. That was the big mover. Maybe Reddit is going to be your flyer. I have no idea, but that's the fun thing about the market is you don't know. I didn't know I was going to go long DJT for the first time ever today, but we did. Maybe it's Reddit tomorrow, though we did go. I mean, I think I've long Reddit once or twice. That's a bit of a different story. Let's get the camera off me. It's Thursday. It's some big earnings after the bell with Netflix, and it's Adara on said bell in 5, 4, 3, 2. You know what to do. And now the market's closed. That we finished. Only 0.5% to the downside. That's not so bad. 0.25 for the ES. Again, not too bad. Big shout out because let's go right to the, you know what, let's not even mess around with this. You know what's up. Netflix is already out. Let's get on over to the desk with Mr. Gatina because they're already out. Big beat. Oh, wow.
Mute right here. Big beat on Netflix right now. Netflix up to 616 and starting to go right now. We'll go into a 1-minute chart. Oh, there goes the other way right now, down to 593. There goes Netflix right now. This is sponsored by Benzinga Pro. So let's get ready to rock and roll. We do have Miss Danielle Shay coming out here. I'm going to get you the numbers in just 1 second. Right here. Okay, get this closed. Where I don't see it on here yet, but there is an earnings beat. We're going to wait to hear what is happening. An initial spike up to 640 for Netflix. We wait. I don't see anything hit yet. I'm hearing it in my ear from Benzinga Pro. I'm not seeing it on here yet, but right now Netflix is starting to go down to the downside. I'm refreshing. I'm not seeing it. Once I do get it, we will find that out for you. But right now Netflix is down $11, down 3%. We had some notes that we made about this, but right now, yeah, you did a lot of work on this, Adara, but it came out real quick. 12% last year. EPS missed last year, 211 versus 222. So we're going to find out what happens now with Netflix, because I don't see the numbers yet. And I don't know if they're officially out. I mean, this is one of the wildest earnings reports I've seen in a heck of a long time. Netflix goes 640 down to 570 and now 605. Netflix basically, I'm hearing that it's out, but I don't have the numbers. I just got to say a big shout out to everybody that's here with me right now. Here we go, man. As soon as I get it, we will have it. And guess what? They are out right now. Breaking news. Bang. It's out. Netflix right here. 2000 quarter one. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit for you here. 528 beats 451. Sales 937 beats 927. So we're getting good top and bottom line beats here for Netflix. Let's see what happens here into the close, or sorry, the market's closed, into this report. So there it goes. Nice move to the upside. They beat on both sides. So what we wait for now is subscriber growth. We'll hear about that. We'll hear about the different tiers, and we'll figure this all out. But right now, Netflix with a big banger. Danielle's taught me one thing, and that was look at what the expected move is. We are expecting 8.3% of a move on Netflix. If we flip this back over into the day chart for Netflix, you're going to see something interesting. We were bouncing off of the 50-period moving average, and now we look to, honestly, where's my pen? Here it is. Hey, what's up, pen? We are now looking at this top. Whoa, wrong thickness on that. Right there. 840 or so as the top level break for Netflix. That's the level that we're looking at, 834, 835. Can we get higher than that for NFLX? Probably good news for the trips. Let's go find out what's going on with Qs. Nah, the NASDAQ not really reacting to this. So here we go. 269 global streaming memberships. Okay, I have it right here on Benzinga. There it is right now. Global streaming paid memberships, 269 million. Wow, I feel like that's good, man. You just went up 16% on your streams. I think that's good, man. Global streaming paid memberships, okay? So paid memberships up 16%. I feel like that's good, no? And then I feel like this guide is also good. Are we getting this bang up report here, Miss Danielle Shay, that we thought? Nice move, man. 468 expected moving forward versus 427. So far so good here for Netflix. All right, well, there are more stocks out there to talk about, but Netflix definitely grabbing my attention. So let's just go over today, look at some of the sectors that we're blasting off, and then we'll watch out. We'll still watch Netflix. Let's go have a quick look here. Netflix on a 1-minute chart. Unfortunately, flat. It's Hydration Nation. Hit it with me. Man, yesterday we filmed a podcast over here. What a difference a day makes. All right, we're still waiting for ISRG, Intuitive Surgical. That not out yet. ISRG. ISRG. All right, big mover again, expensive stock. 170, 140 billion. Oh, it should be up here somewhere. Am I right? Yeah, there it is. $132 billion market cap. We'll wait to see there. All right, here, comments coming from, I don't know if it's from Reed Hastings or not. We now expect forward operating margin of 25%. So I don't know if that's a story that they like or not, but here it is right here. We now expect forward operating margin of 25% based on foreign exchange rates, up from a prior forecast of 24%. Okay, so operating margin higher. That seems good to me. We'll see if anything else drops for that. But so far there, Netflix, kind of a hold my beer moment right now, waiting for a big move. I don't know if we're going to get it. China today, nicely done. Let me put this to a 3-minute. China nicely up here. We're going to have down, you know what, let's go with a 5-minute. So this is year-to-date. Year-to-date FXI right now. Oh, you can't see it because, you know what, let's get my face off of here quickly. I just want to show this feature here quickly if we can. Who's over there, Ramin? Throw me off, and then I just want to show this quickly. Yeah, there it is, thank you. Up 5% so far year-to-date. FXI trying to hold out some levels there today. An important thing that I want to show, so keep it like this for a second. This was what the board looked like today for the market. So let's do a quick little recap here of the sectors. Despite a strong start today, we did have mega caps start to come back in, including Microsoft right here, down 2%, Apple down 0.57. Jobless claims data, the only major economic release today, came in slightly lower than expected, so that was kind of a nothing burger. Our good friend Fed Williams made some, kind of some hawkish comments today on inflation and policy. Happy with current rates. That's not good for anybody right now. Canaccord says buy Meta, so you can see Meta up today 1.5%. Also positive comments about Google. No major economic data releases for tomorrow, but we have to look out for, of course, Fed Goolsbee speaking, and then we're going to look out for Netflix earnings and more to come tomorrow, including Procter & Gamble in the morning and American Express. I mean, JP Morgan and some of the financials today nicely to the upside. Burke, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo up there, 2 and a bit percent. See you, Fabian. Have a good one, man. I'll check you tomorrow. No, you're not in tomorrow. Then have a good weekend. Deserve that one right there. Hardest working. What exactly is your title again, Ramin? Chief of everything over there, Ramin? She's really in charge around here. Gold right now. Nice move to the upside today. Again, if you are worried about potentially this fall in the NASDAQ, I asked Danielle last week at this very time, what's up with the put-call ratio? Okay, right now, gold upside. Look at the triple Qs on the daily. This is the NASDAQ. We had Danielle on last week. Since then, we've lost about couple points, 3% or so in the NASDAQ in about a week. Not having a good one. This is going to be, is it going to be 3 weeks in a row of red? Yes, it is. I mean, this is the weekly candle. Not looking very healthy unless we can somehow get, Dara, maybe wear green tomorrow. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get this market to rally or not. No, wear whatever you want. I'm just joking. Okay. We have a green blanket hanging around here right now. Man, we have way too much fun right now. Okay, I just want to say to everybody, earnings right now, the only real big name. We're going to, if you're rocking with me right now, thank you so much. Let me check how many people are. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. What? Over 3,400 watching right now. Boom, we like that. We like that a lot. So thank you for that. We will be going over all of the major earnings every single day. So it'll be rapid fire. Like you thought today was quick. Wait till you see Microsoft, Meta, Google all drop on the same day, followed by Apple. I'm just making this up. I'm not sure if they're all on the same day. Followed by Apple, AMD, and names like that. They just go bang, bang, bang. But for right now, it is whoa. Hello. Let me drop an anchor on this one more time. Where's the anchor from this day, Mr. Brian? Yeah, we are coming right into that 579 right now. The anchor from this gap. That's what we're looking for. Will Netflix hold in and around 575? If I drop another anchored VWAP at that bottom play from the October bottoms, that's where we get the ominous $500 level for Netflix. But I don't even really want to flip this over into a minute chart because I'm a little bit scared to show you what this is going to look like. So let's do it anyways. Unfortunately, Netflix going the other way. All those numbers that I read for you were good. There must be something in this report that maybe is this is not good. Netflix will stop reporting quarterly membership numbers. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think that's a good thing, but I don't know. I don't really care too much about that. They see as long as they see this, man, net operating margin, okay, this is the problem. Q2 operating margin, 26.6 versus 28. So, whoa, all that news just filled in there. They are seeing a reduction, actually, it looks like, in operating margin for Q2. So Q1 was an up operating margin, but then reduction there in Q2 could be part of the story right there. They get global streaming paid net additions. Okay, again, here's another problem. 9.3 million net paid additions versus 13 million. So it looks like we're starting to dig in. We're starting to see some more numbers from Netflix. It looks like it's going to be a negative net paid addition number. And then also looking out to Q2, negative on margins. That ain't good. We don't like that as supporters of Netflix. But I feel like I've sold that stock. I'm going to have to look. I hold too many names if I can't even remember. Another drink. All right. Oh, wow. Isn't this nice? Here's Danielle Shay tweeting this out. I decided to play Netflix butterflies. Well, you might have had butterflies in your stomach with that play, going both directions. Let's grab some popcorn and see how it plays out. So, okay, she's got the glasses on. All right, we're trying to get all fancy, so let's go find out right now. And we are ready to bring her on. It's Miss Danielle Shay. Let's go. Hey, Danielle, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm not too bad at all. I saw you played some butterflies and you got your little fancy glasses on today.
Well, just trying to tamper down those headaches, and it seems to be working.
Oh,
so I
good.
think I'm gonna keep doing this.
Are they any blue light or anything like that for the rays off the computer screens?
No, they're not actually, but that's a great idea.
Why, thank you. Okay, Netflix. I don't know. I just read some negative headlines there. There were some positive headlines. And I kind of feel like, Danielle, this is going to be par for the course as we move forward with a lot of these big tech companies where we're going to get, I feel like, good quarters out of them. And then we just wait for some of the guides. So that's always been a problem, moving forward. Let's see what happens to Netflix. Any thoughts on this initial move?
So looking at this earnings season, I think we're seeing a little bit of a trend already, which is that companies are doing well. We saw it with Taiwan Semi, right? We had a nice EPS beat, a nice revenue beat, and guidance wasn't bad either, but yet it's down 5%. Netflix right now, they had great numbers and stock's a little bit frothy. It's down about $20, which,
yep.
That's not bad, right? But given the numbers, you would expect a little bit more excitement. So what I think this is demonstrating is that there's really high expectations after the market rally that we've seen. And I think that we can expect even some of these very strong bullish companies to pull back, even if they have great reports.
Yeah, I agree. I think we were a little bit overcooked to the upside. We talked about some of the relative strength. And I mean, something that I've been talking about is looking at the relative strength. We saw JP Morgan start to head to the downside. Then they missed, and they're down 20 points as well, from 200 down to 180. And then there's your Netflix down there. You don't really use anchored VWAPs, do you?
I don't, but tell me all about it.
I don't have enough time. No, but Anchor VWAP, basically, you can just, come over to my screen right here. But thank you for putting me on the spot. I do have a book here. My very good friend, can you pass me this book, Brenda, when you get a second right there? Brian Shannon's talked about it. And what it is you can drop, sorry, it's right in front of this screen here, Brendo. Brendan, you're not on the screen, bro. Hold on, Danielle. Brendan's taking his time. Here it is. He's almost caught on screen there. This is Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. Brian Shannon, go find it at Alpha Trends. But basically, Danielle, you can just drop a VWAP, which is volume weighted average price, anywhere on the chart. And what we choose, if you come over here, this is kind of a cool study here. You can actually, so I've just dropped it at this gap level. So we'll start calculating this level, and we just got down to 578. That's not bad. And I also dropped one over here back at that October low, giving us to 500. I don't think we fill that gap down there to 500. Is there anything on your radar that might tell you that maybe Fibonacci levels or anything like that, where this move may stop? For me, I'm calling in and around this 580.
I like that level, Sean. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So this chart of mine, it doesn't have the after hours data on it. So that's why you're not seeing it move. But I have a couple different points on here. I think that 550 is a pretty good price target because that's where you have this gap. That's also where you have the key psychological value of $550. It's pretty close to where the expected move was. The expected move was $49. And so, you know, Netflix moves within the expected range. That could bring you there. Yes, I was looking at a potential of a 2x move, because Netflix can move a lot on earnings and it's not over yet, right? So in the instance that Netflix does continue falling, could it fall to 500? Yeah, if it breaks 550, it could. As of right now, the reaction, it's not looking like it's going to fall all the way to 500, which is great, I think, for the market. But those were my two support levels to the downside, 550 and then 500.
Yeah, up 21% year to date there on NFLX. Oh, Danielle, the story doesn't seem to stop with our friend Elon Musk. I'm not sure what to expect with this. Tesla today down another 3.5%. Yeah, it's not good. We had some great shorts here today on Tesla. It was my #1 idea on the sticky note. And yeah, it just keeps on getting faded. Every pop, I feel like, starts the day with a move down, comes back to 152 down, tries to get going again, can't even break the 200 period, 151, kept on making lower highs, and ends the day near the bottom. Are we mistaken to think that that Tesla is going to hold this 150 area? I'm not sure we do. And then the next thing we look at is 112. You've been dead on this, Danielle. So any thoughts right here about, which was once a good friend of both of ours, but now appears to be in the doghouse? It's Tesla.
Sean, I told you I love Tesla to the short side. And I wish I would have just put my whole account in it and closed my eyes, but can't risk like that. So I didn't. But when you're looking at the support zones here, here's the thing. If it can't hold 150, it is absolutely hosed, because that is, it's really the last support level until you get all the way down to where you're saying, 112, 100. And here's the thing. Netflix has a daily squeeze, which is just now breaking out. That's a consolidation breakout. And we haven't even had the earnings report yet, okay? All of this downside move has happened in anticipation of that earnings report. And if we have Netflix and Taiwan Semi that are, a little bit lackluster on good reports, imagine what's going to happen if Tesla comes out and has another weak report. The last 4 quarters, it's had major gaps lower: 8.7%, 6.9%, 4%, and then 8%. So, no, that could fall further.
Yeah, the fact that we've just been down now 4 straight quarters, and the story, in my opinion, on on Tesla's getting worse. I mean, we finally got those job cuts down. I think it was 10%. And then yesterday, wow, I don't know if you saw this, Danielle, but another name that we could have put all of our money in, which we didn't, was the short of Rivian. Rivian has been getting absolutely clocked. This is not a name that you and I have ever discussed, but RIVN here coming out with their report on May 7th. Still a lot of time to go. They cut jobs yesterday. They dropped some hot was it called the R3? I don't know what it was, but a nuke truck. And that was not well received. It's been downhill since then. That was the day that they were rolling it out. Rivian continues to be a problem. I'm going to put up a weekly chart here just to catch a quick drift. No, that's it, yeah. So it looks better on a daily. Yeah, just straight to the downside. A lot of shareholder wealth being disseminated here on Rivian. Is this ever a name that you've traded at all?
You know, I haven't looked at this chart in a while, but let me tell you, this is like my favorite pattern before earnings. So I'm glad that you found it, because this is what you want to look for. When you see a stock that's in a downward trend like this, and then you can see that the previous quarter, it had a major gap lower and it's continued in a bearish trend.
Yep.
And you have earnings coming up, that is just a death pattern, okay? And that is why Tesla was a short. And it's because you have investors in that stock and they're like, oh, please don't let it gap down another 20% on earnings. And so they bail on it before the report. So yeah, I mean, I know people will say, well, it's already fallen so much. Yeah, it has, but it can go to zero. So I like it.
Good, good. I'm glad we brought that up, because that's cool to talk about, like patterns that you do like. We do have to talk about something quickly, because last week we promoted it near the end. I want to do it while we have 3,000 people on right now. You're going to be breaking down on your YouTube channel some of this Netflix trade tomorrow. So let's just call that up, because you're often imitated but never duplicated. We've got the real Danielle Shay on right now, and I want to show the real Danielle Shay's YouTube page. So let's go over, have a quick look at that, Danielle. The mic is yours. Where can people find you?
You can follow me at Trader Danielle on YouTube. Make sure you don't get the fake ones, because, you know, they're going to try to ask you for money for Bitcoin, and that is not me. So this is my channel. I actually just made a video about how I shorted Tesla using butterflies. So make sure you check that out. I have a bunch of butterflies on right now, and whenever I take them off, I'll be making more videos about Netflix earnings, and you'll probably be able to see those tomorrow.
Great, so we will definitely check that out. Okay, another name that you've really liked, let's just go over it, because we do get new people in the chat. I will actually, hey, Bears versus Bulls. Danielle, let me take one or two questions. Good with that?
Yeah, sure, anytime.
Okay, perfect. Bears versus Bulls, if you see any decent ones in there, let me know, pass them on to me, and we'll get that going. Last week, you profiled Microsoft for us. Now we are getting the move that you and I had both kind of feared. We had talked about this. We had worried about getting long or getting into a position. Come over to my screen quickly here, Ramin, just quickly. We are now pulling back in with earnings just a week away, April 25th. So 2 days after Tesla, we're going to get Microsoft. Next week is going to be an awesome week. 400, that looks like a slippery slope to me, breaking below the 50. Is this still setting up? Do you like the long potentially here on Microsoft? Any advice for those of us looking to get long into earnings? Do we wait? Do we act now? Is it maybe not healthy environment for Microsoft?
Sean, I have to tell you that Microsoft is my favorite ticker to trade, and it's typically my biggest moneymaker, but this setup kicked me in the butt, okay? When you break through the 50 simple like this and you shift in an overall trend, I mean, that's a trend break. We're seeing a major trend break in Microsoft. I do not ever want to be long a stock when it breaks through the 50, but this one got me. So I'm not going to add into it at this point at all. I think it's a little bit too close to the earnings report. We're going to be on together after that earnings report next Thursday.
Hell yeah.
But, you know, the only thing I could do with this at this point is if, like, let's say if the put call ratio stays up above 1, which it has been pretty close, by the way, it's at, I think, 0.9. And it's been up there for a few days, so we're getting close. But if the put call ratio stays up above 1, if there's some other major bullish catalyst and we see a huge short squeeze, then yes, I would buy some more Microsoft. But right now that pattern's broken and the long did not work.
Yeah, that's a dangerous setup there, especially heading into this NASDAQ. I mean, we talked about it being a little bit over I don't know, just overbought at some of those levels, and so it does run into it. But you know what, Danielle? I'd rather buy, you know, Microsoft at these lower levels heading into earnings to get that surprise, give us that juice back up to the upside. So I like some of the stuff you're talking about there. I'm going to give you a second because, if you don't mind, WDC is a symbol that we're getting asked questions about. Western Digital, it's going to be in the right space. So come over to my screen. We'll let Danielle have a quick look, set her screens up as well. But WDC, Western Digital, I'll put this into the chat. I know Danielle's in the chat. She'll probably stay on for a little bit after. Let me just see this. It is from, I wanted to give a big shout out to our mod as well. Bears versus Bulls just dropped this. So right here, here's the question from Jay Sond. Question for Danielle Shay. How would you play WDC Butterfly with earnings coming up? Anything similar to maybe what you did here today on Netflix, but that's what they're looking for. It's good to promote the Butterfly because you're going to have videos on that, which everybody, of course, can check out tomorrow. So Western Digital, guys, coming out on April the 25th. It's you know, again, a great runner, nice move, but is pulling back in. What do you see, if anything, if you're set up for Western Digital?
So whenever you're looking at trying to create a butterfly, you just want to ask yourself, am I looking for the expected move, or am I looking for a situation in which it moves 1.5 or 2 times the expected move? And that's how you make your decision as far as, you know, where you're going to place your butterfly. So with Netflix, I went about at the expected move and then 1.5 to 2 times the expected move. So basically I have 2 different plays. With this one in particular, the expected move is going to be about $6, okay? And, you know, you can't set it up right now because you'd have to do it right before the report, which would be next Thursday, but let's pretend it was reporting right now. So looking at WDC, first of all, you just want to see how often does it stay within the range. Last quarter, down 2.4%, quarter before that up 10%, 1.3, 2.8, 0.3, 4.6. So this one is a little bit all over the place.
Yeah.
Another thing that I will notice is that when you look at the moves, you have about half the time up and half the time down. So in that case, you know, you just have to make the decision. All right, do you want to bet on it up or down? The move that it's pricing in is going to be about 8-9%. Okay. So that's actually pretty high. But basically what you would do is you would just throw some fib levels on here and say, okay, wow, we have a really nice price target up here at $80 at your 1272, but you also have an easier target at the previous high, which, you know, 76.92. You would use 75 for a butterfly instead of 76. So you could do a butterfly targeting 76 or 80. This one would be the expected move. This one would be the greater than expected move. And then to the downside, you would just do the same thing. You can do where this area of support is at 65, and you can do another one down at 60. I don't normally recommend doing 4 different trades on one ticker, but it just depends what the overall risk is per trade.
All right.
And you can obviously always just decide like, hey, I only want to do the long trades or only want to do the short trades.
Right. So depending on the preference there, Jay says a big thank you in the chat as well. So that was absolutely fantastic, obviously. And we'll wait to see as it comes closer to the report to figure out those levels. And we just pretended it was reporting tomorrow. Okay. People, there's a lot of questions, but we just picked one out of here, and it's just a generic one about the market, because as we sit here, they want to know about the SPY. So it's from AV. So AV is a big participant in our chat. What option trade ideas, if any, do you currently have prepared for the SPY? So maybe you don't have any, and maybe we can even talk about that. Is there an index of choice for you? Do you sort of jump around? I've been looking at SMH recently because that's an ETF, but because of the semiconductors. I know IWM has been pretty popular, but not really moving as much. Are you looking at the SPY or Qs? Do you have a preference on a major index or an ETF that you like to play when doing option trades?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, whenever I'm doing my analysis, I usually do it off of the futures charts. So I'll look at the S&P futures or I'll look at the NASDAQ futures. But if I'm going to swing trade options, generally your best liquidity and your best pricing is going to come with the SPY. So, you know, you're going to be able to get some pretty cheap trades in there. I like holding those as swing trades, but I do primarily trade the NASDAQ just because it moves a little bit more. So I'll generally trade the QQQs. Now, if I was going to day trade, in that instance, I usually use the SPX. So for the SPX, the reason why I would use that is because it has 0 DTE options. And so
Right.
you can come in at the end of the day. I love trading the close and I love looking for movement at the close. And I mean, you can just place, butterflies, just $10, $15 higher, $10, $15 lower, depending on which direction you're looking for the market to go. So if I'm going to day trade, it's definitely going to be the SPX over the SPY.
You remind me of our friend Chris Brecher from Simpler Trading, and he talks all the time about those closing trades and breaks them down. So we like that, and especially with those imbalances coming out at 350, you can get, like today there was a 1.5 billion to buy, and we saw the market shoot up a little bit there, so you could take advantage of that. All right, someone slipped in. What's up to Ian Rispetto? It's gonna be, I'm gonna ask you about Boeing, so BA. So I'm gonna give you a second to go have a quick look at that. They report next week as well on April the 24th. Ian slipped in here with a $5 super chat, so I wanna say thank you so much to that, Ian. We gotta get wrapped up here. It's almost 4:30, but we'll stay a little bit late because guess what, Danielle? Traders stay late. So Ian Rispetto wants to know about Meta and Boeing. I chose Boeing for that. So let's go over there and have a quick look. I mean, on the daily chart, I'm not going to make any fun comments about this thing. This stock is basically grounded, but I feel like it needs to be grounded. Down here into 170, you are now starting to break all kinds of support if we haven't even already. Even on the weekly chart as this loads up, we've already taken out that 180. That looked pretty good. Next level of support, unfortunately, kind of looks like Tesla to me, all the way down here into 120 or so. Anything interesting that you're seeing? And I want to thank Ian for that super chat about Boeing heading into next week's April 24th report.
So when you look at Boeing, I mean, this one is such a disaster, right? I mean, they just have one problem after the next. But, I agree with you and I like the downside pattern, but I will tell you it's a little bit of a red herring to me that the last 4 quarters post earnings, it gapped up. And so generally, if I'm going to short something going into earnings, it's because it has a bearish pattern, bad news, and it's been gapping lower. So with this one, since it has had some bullish gaps up after the report, it might be better to short it afterwards because, you're already down on the lows. And if you do get a rally up into the 21 EMA at about maybe 180 or 184, you're going to have a much better entry and a better edge shorting it up there than, trying to do it down here. But I mean, I definitely would not go long Boeing. Like this chart and the company has just been a disaster lately. So I'd stick to the short side.
Yeah, I mean, they're using dish detergent to figure out leaks in the doors. I'm going to do a hard pass on that one for sure. All right, Danielle, we're getting some comments in the chat. Everyone loves always the apparel. I mean, you have that eat, trade, sleep, trade thing. Well, I don't know what that eat, sleep, trade. I can't remember what it was. And now you have something else. So what do you got on there? Does that say Wall Street? Is that another? Yeah, that's a self-made. Yeah, what is that? What do you got there? It's American flag?
Yeah, check it out. I made it. It's my merch. My 10-year-old, he's homeschooled. He's been working on making his Minecraft merch, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way. This is my sample. I made it myself. So
I like that. I like the merch. We're gonna have to get going on that around here as well. Hey, if you're ever thinking about moving again, I mean, I have a spot for you here right beside me on the desk. So you let me know if that's possible, but then you'd have to come to lovely and gorgeous and hey, Danielle, how's it going, Danielle? It's really nice to see you. Oh, no, there she, okay, my bad. But yeah, we really, gorgeous opportunity to come here to Toronto, but I know you are potentially planning on visiting soon, so maybe, when is that? Is that in the fall or in the summer or maybe never?
Maybe. We'll have to see.
All right, fingers crossed. Miss Danielle Shay, they can find you at Trader Danielle on X, I almost said Twitter there, and I did anyways, and on YouTube. So once again, fingers crossed, heading into some earnings, and I'm going to see you on this exact show next week when we can dissect Microsoft. Thanks for all your work today, Danielle.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Ciao. That's Trader Talk. Thing is, guys, we did it again. Over 2,500 of you watching. There's another amazing segment, in my opinion anyways, with the Danielle Shay. Thank you so much for coming on the show one more time. But you know what? This show wouldn't be anything unless we had a roll call to do. Look, man, I just shouted out AV in the chat. We've had Ian Rispetto. We've had a lot of different, members of our community continuously join us on all of our programming. Yesterday, Brendo and I filmed a podcast. It was a great one. Check that out on Saturday. But there it is. Yeah, do it one more time, Ramin. Why not? One more time. All right, yeah, she's awesome. We have a lot of awesome ladies around here, that is for sure. Shout out to both Adara, Ramin, and of course, you, Danielle Shay, who is still in the chat. So much respect to everybody. All right, let's go. It's roll call. Who is still here with us right now? It is Dr. Strange. Nothing strange about that. Great show as usual, he says. Pro day trader is in the building. Andrew Chow says, hi, hey, what's going on, my guy? Brandon is here as well. Dream Ride Music. Oh, look at that. Sean and Danielle have excellent chemistry together. Hence a seat is waiting for her. What's up, Alex S? What's up, Hugh? What's up, Aaron? What's up, Bristol? What's up, Danielle Mendez? Future Eddie is in the building right now. Yo, yeah, we're still going. What's up, Piper? Hey, man, I've been here since 8 o'clock. We've been live with everybody. We're still cooking as well. I don't have, again, I got to download the proper software here. I can't show you too many of my trades today. One more. What's up, Oscar? What's up, CompuCare? What's up, Smokin' Mokes Barbecue? If you are ever looking for great barbecue, check out Smokin' Mokes Barbecue in a town near you. Smokin' Moke. All right, what a day it was today. We traded Nvidia, AMD, Tesla, some of the names, Amazon. What a great end of the day that was. As we described our Amazon short, our AMD short, that printed that money at the end of the day. Let's see if we can put a little bit more on the board tomorrow. We've got hockey, we've got chess, we've got baseball. I got to go learn how to line a diamond. I know how to line a diamond. I was lining diamonds since I was a kid. We're going to learn more about that tonight. Shout out to High Park. We love you. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. It's Friday. Will it be Free Fall Friday? I don't know, but you're going to find out with me tomorrow. It's at Trader TV Sean. Go follow me everywhere except for TikTok, because we have some fake ones there that I can't get off. But go follow me now, Instagram and Twitter. We're live everywhere. Hit the like. Hit to subscribe. Thank you, Miss Shay, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Ciao. Thanks, Ramin.